starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Good evening, everyone. Russell Wright, Network Empire Director's Cut Project Breakthrough, with my dear friend Sue Bell, and longtime business partner, multiple companies, multiple lessons along the way, awesome search engine company and software company, and of course, the infamous, the one and only, Jimmy Keller. Also here, coming live from Austin, both of them coming live from Austin at this point. I'm actually in Prescott, Arizona, overlooking the beautiful city and having a great time. I was not sure I was going to be here, but here I am, and I'm glad and privileged and honored to be on this call with everybody. Let's do a sound check. Can you hear me, or have I been talking to myself again? Give me a 1 if you can hear me, and a 2 if you cannot. 1, yes you
A
can.
3 if you can hear me.
Yeah, and a 3 if you can hear Sue. And a 3 if you only want to hear Sue and wish that I would shut up. Okay, I'm watching you guys. I'm Jazz. I'm booting you off of the call. Click. Just kidding. No, you're awesome. You guys are really, really fantastic. Now, this is a really extra loaded call, and so we're going to probably have to jump right in. Now, please be advised that we do have a couple of backbones here carrying this call. Sue is in the middle of moving all kinds of stuff, so she might be in and out. So if you lose any one of us at any one point, we will figure it out from there. Jimmy, how are you tonight? How's everything?
Pretty good. Not too bad.
What's on your mind? What deep, dark SEO secrets are happening in your brain today?
Whoa, it's funny you should ask.
I've
I thought
heard-
you, of all people, would appreciate this. Let me see if I can find my screenshot.
Oh, I would appreciate it. Yep. It's got to be slightly more, if not completely more, than what Sue would let us show.
This isn't. Let's see. That's a little blurry. Let me see.
Is that like SEO porn?
There is such a thing as SEO porn.
Can you see that?
Yeah, what is that? Looks like a toroidal drink.
It kind of looks like it.
Is that your new SEO?
Magnetism?
Oh, it's magnetism. Oh, that looks like a Tesla coil, like an inverted Tesla coil, or a Rodin coil.
Michael Faraday.
Oh, it's a Faraday vortex.
Yes, his experiment.
Oh, yes.
And as many nerds do, I was sitting around watching some of his videos.
Awesome.
And I thought about this, and it gave me some ideas for some DAS concepts.
Interesting. This is one of the reasons, you guys, that Jimmy and I get along, because I actually have a Faraday cage in my office. You guys have seen the office where I have my video, and I have the dodecahedron stellated zoom tool and all that. I actually have a Faraday cage there for various reasons, which are not related to SEO at all. Somebody said it looks like a bong, Jimmy.
It is.
Shane is saying it looks like a bong.
It kind of looks like it, huh?
Shane,
It's
no, Peter
well,
said that.
I'll show you the other blurry screenshot I took. Maybe this one.
Peter Coyle, how would you know what a bong looks like?
A little better.
I thought everybody was. Oh, that's really funny.
It's where
Jazz,
the metal rod's going around the magnetic field.
Oh yeah, that's cool. So now we have what's called a Faraday SEO technique, right?
Yes, this is specifically meant with some semantic web ideas.
Now I know it's really a trip for you guys, but Jimmy and I actually did. I think Sue was there too. We actually sat around and looked at the Rodin connectors of using Bucky Fuller's model and some asymmetrical models for stacking in 3D, which was very, very cool. So even though we're sort of kidding with this, we're not kidding that much. There is a relationship to artificial intelligence and recursion. And recursion is, of course, maintained in the curvature of the relationship in the dodecahedron. Now, if you guys care about that, you seriously are strange. Okay, and we are. So, by the way, what does this have to do with how I can make money in 30 seconds from now, Jimmy?
Well, I was just thinking. So I could give a backstory on DAS a little bit.
Yeah,
So,
please do. Let's get into it.
when I came out with that technique, that was back in the 2009 era. And back then, that's when the first Penguin had kind of rolled out, and people were like, what the crap? What's going on in the search engine? Our main money sites are in the toilet, mass chaos. And sitting around and trying to look and find answers to questions, I realized that, there's no, it's a lot of people taking guesses and stuff. And so I tried to envision at that time, if Google got rid of links, what would they look at? And that's when I started thinking of the domain authority at the time, because there wasn't really any, this predates all their studies and all that other thing, but I see a lot of it in the same way that you look at this. There's that magnet in the middle would represent any specific keyword, and your site would be the metal rod that's going around these magnetic fields. And the fields are just a way to, connect the dots. Where back in the day, we'd just take the rod and like plant it right on the magnet. It's like the old style of link building. But as we move into semantic web and things, I really think it's going to be more of a relationship type feel. And so that's what I thought of when I was watching this video. I took this screenshot because I was like,
Yeah.
Had me thinking on some other tactics.
Planes, absolutely. And I know, as crazy as this sounds, you guys, because we're going to jump right into these questions here, and we'll ground. Speaking of grounding, we're going to get it back and grounded. But believe it or not, there's nothing more grounding than the study of how geometry works with magnetic fields. I've got many, many, many years in this research, and some of you who know me personally have heard where I came from and before I was involved in SEO. What is interesting is where you have nonlinear relationships across multiple data points, you have a similar thing with virtual fields, with 3D fields or paramagnetic field effects. And so there is actually a relationship to some of the math and quantum physics to the math that Google uses for artificial intelligence. And you can talk to Sue about things like the regret algorithm and hard AI. I don't know if you guys have seen this new movie out. Have you guys seen Ex Machina? Ex Machina, am I even saying it right? Brand new movie out. Anybody seen that? Give me one if you guys seen that movie. Jazz saying it's on her list. Yeah. Ooh, lots of people. Now, some people are going to love it, some people are going to hate it, but the interesting thing is that Larry, Google's CEO, is one of the main characters in there. They call it Blue Book, though, and he actually gets killed in the film trying to create an artificial female. And what's interesting about it is all the discussions about the Turing and how would you the Alan Turing, how would you recognize if you were talking to artificial intelligence? Well, these are all really interesting things that are crossing over into the realm of algorithms and artificial intelligence. In other words, Google wants to become an artificial being that can automatically tell if it's talking to your robots. And what is your robot when it comes to SEO? Your robot is crappy, fake, artificial algorithms that are easy to recognize as robots, right? So everything that Jimmy and Sue have been talking about is really all about how good, when it comes to SEO, how good is Google at determining whether they're seeing robotic effects of your manipulation? And how good are you at recognizing when Google is using robotic effects to breach your identity or to find out what you're doing? So we are really moving into time where hard AI or hard intelligence is going to be a part of SEO. In fact, I'll never forget when Sue was telling me about natural language processing. She has a very interesting background in semantics and artificial intelligence, and that's how ThemeZoom and some of our more expensive algorithms to process came to exist. And she was like, oh yeah, didn't you know that LSI, which everybody uses LSI now in SEO, right? LSI is actually a part of artificial intelligence. In other words, if you look at the categories under AI, LSI is an early form or a soft form of artificial intelligence. So that's kind of cool. And I just wanted you guys to, think creatively about that. Dave Key says, LSI, doesn't that cause hallucinations? David, I did not say LSD. Dave Keys always has to be such a smart ass. Like, I think I'm being really, really smart, and then he's just got to make some comment like that. That's awesome, Dave. I appreciate it. All right, Sue, I'm stepping out of the way. Do we want to jump in, Jamie? Do you have more to expand upon with this?
Well, it just
it's cool stuff.
Yeah, for me, I try to take things that I learned from other places and apply it to what I do. It doesn't always fit. It doesn't always trigger an idea, but that's sometimes your simple ideas and things of thinking out of the box is just, it grows into something great as you let it, just kind of plant that seed. So
absolutely. Well,
it's kind of like if you read a Bible, they say liken it unto yourself. Like I kind of do the same thing with these types of videos.
Mm-hmm.
So try to see, how could I liken this to what I do? how does this
Understood.
apply in my life?
What's the
So,
metaphor or the idea that you can take from it that might work on the same discipline or in a different discipline with the same thing?
yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, cool. Questions? Answers? Solutions? Thank you. Good night. That was it. It's been nice talking to everybody. We really hope that you go out and execute this and apply this to your real world scenario. And I'm kidding you guys. Jazz is like, no. I'm a little jazzed because I saw that San Andreas Vault movie, and it makes my problems look pretty small after seeing a movie like that. Just like, oh, wow. Talk about splat. At any second, you'd just be walking along and somebody's like, oh, splat, here's your whole planet. It's like, oh, what problem?
Bypasses.
What? All right, you guys, let's get right into your stuff. Let's see what we got. Oh, Jimmy's doing something crazy. Oh, he's going to take us and put us all in a Faraday cage.
Yeah, that's right. I'm going to just show that little clip of the video.
Faraday cage is
Well, we pull up other stuff, of course.
Jazz has said, what is the last thing to go through a bug's mind when it hits the window?
Don't.
Jazz, I know the answer to that. Everybody knows the answer to that. Now, that's almost a Mike Clay joke. Dave Key says his ass. That's almost a Mike Clay level joke. Mike, are you here? I nominate Mike as the worst, the purveyor of absolute worst jokes. That's one of the awards. Besides the Cell Report's first stuff, he's also got that. Oh, now you're watching Faraday's stuff.
I just wanted to show the experiment so they didn't actually think it was a bong.
No, really. That'd be funny if that guy just grabbed it like, all right. All right, so let's jump right into the questions. Yeah, Jazz calls it a hookah. Hate it. Okay, let's just jump right in. All right, so we are looking at June 9th, 2015. What is your name? Please write your question. No, that's not the actual question. Patrick, you got more questions. Let's just go ahead. Patrick, are you here, first of all? Okay. I have a client money site that I can't get past page 2. I'm pretty sure it's been infected. www.sentinChatbox.com. I like that. I wonder who owns sentinChatbox.com. I'm stuck. Been working on it for months. Please help.
Well, let's see.
Didn't we have somebody who was already, didn't we halfway process somebody last week, Jimmy?
Yes, we did. That was Patrick. And I still have all of his stuff.
Oh, it's the same guy. So
we can always go through that one.
Nice. Nice, we could. He's probably talking about that one. He's probably still talking about that one.
Yeah, so we could go over that tonight. Do you care, Patrick, if we share that, share the site and all that for the process?
I think he didn't last week. He might have changed his mind since now he's obfuscating that URL. I don't know. It doesn't seem like he's here. So he's fair game. No, just kidding. Let's see. Shall we move past the next one while we're getting that one ready?
Yeah, we could probably save that one to the end.
Okay, we'll save that one.
But we will actually do it this time.
Okay. Gotcha. Mike Broadwell. Mike is such an awesome guy. Okay, let's see. Mike, are you here? Do you have a workaround for the YouTube channel?
Patrick is in the audience, by the way.
Oh, there he is. Oh, no, he's only talking to you. Oh, no, there he is.
He's not. It's not that he's chatting. It's that. Oh, he did.
Oh, there he is. Hi, Patrick. Patrick, what is the deal? Are we supposed to hide your site?
Oh, he wants to know what's the risk. Well, the risk is somebody else is going to take all your keywords and rank for you, or outrank you. But
The risk is 200
Or
people might like your
negative
niche, yeah. Or negative SEO. That does happen from time to time.
Well, and this one specifically, so this went out in Mike Long's email. I don't know if people remembered this from when he sent this out.
What was
this
it?
was kind of Chris Marshall.
Okay.
And this is a question that gets asked a lot when they get stuck on page 2.
Oh, nice. Let's go for it.
So, the interesting thing, he looked at one of Octavia's sites on this week's AnyWebby and Director's Cut, highlighted a simple change of a page title for Octavia's site. I had a local site in a very uncompetitive market that has been stuck in the 12 to 15 position for ages, and within an hour of making that type of change, Jimmy recommended to de-optimize the title. It's on page 1.
Yeah.
So I don't know if Chris is in here.
Yeah, I think Chris Marshall is on the call. These are just, Jimmy is fairly modest, unless, of course, he's been drinking. No, I won't say that. These are the one of many, many types of things that we get all the time. And but this one is pretty huge because that's a massive. That's interesting. I don't even remember seeing Chris's site. I don't think I ever did.
But the interesting thing is like what we show on some of these webinars, people are able to.
Oh, they're going out. Chris went off and did that on his own. He just copied Octavia, the stuff we got from Octavia. Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So, and basically, and I know we've talked about this on other webinars, but basically if you get stuck on page 2, you're over optimized for the keyword. So that can be one of two scenarios. So scenario 1, you've put that keyword too many times in your titles, in your meta description, in many URLs of your site.
Yeah.
So it could be any of those. So you've just overdone it with the keyword and talking about it on your site. And that's a quick check you can do using Screaming Frog. The second one is maybe you didn't really go overboard, but the combination of inbound anchor links with maybe a handful of those will cause that same issue. Gotcha. So whenever you find yourself getting stuck on there, you've overdone it. You haven't overdone it enough to get really badly slapped, but it's more, I call it a suppression penalty, but that's what you want to look at whenever you get stuck on page 2. Those are the things you want to look at.
Understood. Gotcha. Oh, I want to thank everybody who's still coming into the room while Jimmy gets into these many, many success stories. Also want to thank Mike Long for putting the notation out in our move and a lot of different things. We didn't do our regular marketing for this, and we're moving up towards 200 people now in here. Thank you all so much for being so disciplined and showing up. Even when we don't always know if we're going to show up, you guys are really, really disciplined guys and gals. Thank you very much. So let me just see. Oh, by the way, I know I just can barely get myself to do it, but if you want to, you can go because now we're competing with Cotton Grammar in his webinar because he wants to. So go to the Facebook page where Mike Long said and just, whatever it is that I've learned this from Cotton Grammar that I'm now supposed to compete and try to get you all to go in there. So feel free to go in there and make any kind of comment that you want, presuming it just mostly makes us look really, really good. Faraday. Dave Keys is going to go in there and say, hashtag Faraday. That would be awesome, David. That's a good one. And if anybody spells
Faraday SEO, let's just freak them all out.
Just call it semantic DAS.
Yeah, it's semantic. Call it dodecahedras. If you guys spell dodecahedron right, I will remember you and give you extra credit. I might even open a Skype room called Dodecahedra Das. All right, anyway, thank you so much. I just had to put that in there because somebody on my team, I'm not going to say who, complained that I didn't promote our little Facebook page, a little Facebook status update a little bit more. So now I've done my part. And back to Jimmy.
All right.
No, Brian, we're not.
Don't mind me, I'm just crunching on ice.
Brian, Jimmy's eating ice. That's about it. So he probably has a. No, we don't have any need to smoke anything, Brian. Our brains work like this when we're normal.
Don asked an interesting question.
What's that?
He said, how many times is considered too many times for keywords in the meta title and URL?
Mm-hmm.
You only need to have it. So like this is a thing. This is what I've noticed from link building lately. I feel that Google is really favoring inner pages as opposed to home pages. So what I mean is, if you really want to rank for a specific keyword, you could put a little optimization on your homepage for it just to go over that topic, but really create a dedicated page and optimize for it internally of your site. And that seems to be going a lot easier than trying to force it on the homepage. So, and the biggest thing is like people just typically overdo it. You only really need to have one real relevant page for any given keyword on there. And of course with that keyword, you want to make sure you're getting your the right co-occurrence and other types of pure diverse LSI in there, because those can all help you rank and rank for other terms as well without overdoing that keyword. So I know a lot of people, when they think of LSI, they're like, oh, long tail, long tail, long tail.
Right.
Like, just take that and throw it out the window. Don't think of it as my LSI has to be a long tail. So we would go after cheap car insurance quotes, cheap car insurance for teenagers. That's too much cheap car insurance. We're going to do cheap car insurance. We're going to do affordable auto insurance. We're going to do discount automobile rates, stuff like that. All of which, you can do drills for using TLKT like we've shown on some of the other webbies. So, and that goes with link building too. When you're doing link building, just don't go after the same keyword over and over. Tell a story using your keywords. Think of it as like, what are other ways I can say this without actually saying this keyword?
Right.
But make sure you do your optimization for the main keyword that you're doing. I don't know if that's confusing, but that's really what people have to change in their thinking.
Okay. One thing just came up. Dan has said, I think it was Dan or Rookie here, what is LSI again? I'm sorry, guys. I got to stop making assumptions. I'm going to go ahead and drop our wiki definition to latent semantic indexing. It's just a keyword definition. Go ahead and spend a little time with that. I'll go ahead and drop that in while Jimmy's continuing here for everybody to look at. Definition.
The interesting thing is that Jimmy uses the term LSI keyword, which doesn't really have anything to do with latent semantic indexing. It simply means a thematically related keyword.
Yeah, so we really got some definitions. We got everybody on the team has a little bit different way of saying things, but Sue would just call what Jimmy calls an LSI keyword, Sue calls a theme, a theme relevant keyword, right, Sue? Is that correct, or am I wrong?
Right, and I should redefine it to say my LSIs are pure diverse.
Yeah, pure diverse is not, well, okay.
No, that's really going to throw.
Hey, Sue, I think you were muted, but when Jimmy says LSI keyword, you really mean theme relevant, a theme related keyword, right?
Yeah, thematically related. So
Yeah.
it's something that's
More like try.
well, yeah, that's a term I don't use too much, but just
Anymore.
like a synonym or a word that has a very similar meaning but isn't expressed.
That's it.
I mean, I have a definition. Look, you guys, I have a definition of pure diverse.
Like, I can talk about it, or we can just show them.
Yeah, you can talk about it, exactly. I will. While Jimmy's actually showing you guys, I'm going to drop the definition of pure diverse in the screen since it was a term I invented, and I will drop it in there and make sure that you guys have the ability to look at it, okay? That way it'll make a little bit more sense. It was invented by us in 2006. And it's very helpful even today, and it is a little bit different than LSI, although an LSI term can be pure diverse from a theme. Let me just find that for you. Go ahead, Jimmy.
So with any of this, this is the last keyword tool, and you can. I like this because they go and they do your drills as you go and you create your project, right? So you're not pulling old data from somewhere. Most of them will be banked on like a month-old data or worse.
Indeed.
So. And that doesn't help, especially if you're going into areas that, it might be a newer keyword, something that's trending, something that's not really known. Like,
right.
That's where, your fresh data can come in really handy. But nonetheless, I wouldn't want to link build on stuff or build a page off of stuff that's old than when the time I'm working on it. So let's just pick something here. We could do, I don't know, what should we pick? You do like GPS tracking devices, something crazy. So, and there might not be too many pure diverse, but they have these cool filters that they've built into this, right? So there's two ways to look at it. When I optimize for a page, you're following what Sue likes to call the money. You're following money when you're optimizing for your money site, right? Or maybe it could be a 2.0 that you're also wanting to rank in conjunction with it. So those are the things that I look at when I'm optimizing a money page. And when I do that, I usually will use like Jimmy's supporting keywords, or you can do, where's the other one? Is it highly relevant?
Highly relevant, yes.
And then there's also suggested silos. Those are the 3 filters I look at because those help me get to the money. But I use a different thing when I'm going after backlinks because I want the co-occurrence to be higher as opposed to where the money is. So highly relevant, let me see. So you apply this filter, and let's just say I'm creating a page on my site about GPS tracking devices, and that's my main keyword. And so when you come in here, your LSI is dictating, where your it's automatically filtered for this. So this tells you the most important kind of keyword and where it is in relationship to this other main keyword. So GPS tracking is very important to be on with GPS tracking devices, which is obvious, right? Because it's inside the keyword. But what I like to do in here is try to find ones that aren't necessarily the same word, but you're following the money and still have high co-occurrence, and that's what I put on page. So when you look at this, I'm not looking for long tails, so what I would pick out of here would be, let's see, and it's not much variety on this keyword, so it might be a difficult one to kind of show.
Yeah, I mean, pure diverse is not always going to be there. It really depends.
Yeah.
Pure diverse means neither word in the mid tail or long tail is contained in the seed or the original, but it still means the same thing.
See, GPS locator might be kind of good, but right here in this column, you're seeing like how much people are willing to pay for a click on that. So typically what you want to do is follow the money, because if people are willing to bid this high on some of these, like GPS, well, that's the main keyword we're going after, but this gives you other ideas of other keywords that would be quite profitable if you rank for them, right?
Jimmy, we're asking for a definition. Co-occurrence. Graham is asking for the definition of co-occurrence, which anyone on our team can give him.
Co-occurrence would be where a specific group of keywords continually show up on ranking pages in the SERP. So they're common phrases that are very commonly found as you look through all of the other pages on the internet.
Right. So what we do, you guys, just for this software, is the way Sue has designed this is that, not to get too boring, but it's actually pretty exciting. It scrapes literally thousands of pages. And if the keyword you've typed in, like for instance here, Jimmy has put in GPS tracking devices. If after parsing thousands of pages related to that search query, we find more and more words, almost like a keyword density more or less, but it has to co-occur with the word. When we find words with that word consistently, we give it a percentage. That's just like super basic, like for dummies version of co-occurrence. So if somebody is saying, if somebody is using the word GPS, what is this term? GPS, whatever. Every time they say that, they say alarm system. Then we know that's, and they say it like on 80% of the pages out there, we know that that's a high it's co-occurring or occurring with that term that you research. So it's almost like you're in a room where there's a conversation happening and people are often using the same word around another word. Does that make sense? And the percentage is simply just how often you tend to use that word on a page with that word that's being researched. Does that make sense, guys? Gals, give me one. Yeah, okay, cool, you guys got it. Awesome.
So yeah, and we'll show you another cool thing that's in this too. I know this gets a little bit off questions, but it's still kind of fun just to go over. So if you have fitness, right, so I changed this because somebody's like, let's get something a little bigger so you can actually see it as opposed to everything being GPS, whatever. So let's say we're trying to rank for fitness now. So I went and clicked on my highly relevant filter and it organizes it for you down here. And so now we can see that these are the most important words that go with fitness specifically. Okay, so if I was doing this on my money site, what I'm looking for is stuff that's also going to be along the same lines, but very high money. So you're looking for searches, and I look for searches in combination with your cost per click on the daily basis, right? So let's just see. Like fitness center gets pretty good, but that's quite a few clicks for the bid there. But I mean, you get other ideas here. You have a workout plan. Workout plan is, that's at $11.57 a click, and it's got 266 searches a day. That's pretty dang good.
Yeah.
You can see brands in here, Anytime Fitness. Obviously, you probably wouldn't pick that because you're not going to. I usually won't go head-to-head with a brand right off the bat. I usually will build up to it. But so those are kind of keywords that you're going to pick when you're looking. I would pick out workout plan because it's a pure diverse. And then you just try to get some of these other ones. I'd do like fitness exercises, fitness training, exercise workout, and then I would grab the workout plan down here. And I would throw all those onto the page I'm trying to rank for my fitness, right? Because we'd just pick 3 of the top 5 most highly relevant terms to go on the page, and they all have pretty decent, click-throughs on money. They're all about the same. But, like when you might see something in there that's like there's no bid for it, it's highly relevant, but you might skip over some of those if there's no money, because when I rank a page, like not only will I go for fitness, but I'm going to go for all these other keywords from that same page on here, right? So I do kind of the opposite when I go in to do backlinking, because I know if I optimize everything revolving around fitness, it's going to be in the URL, in the title, in the H1, and at least once in content. So now it comes down to backlinks. When I do backlinks, I'm not going to want to come in and start doing like best fitness exercises or super fitness training or fitness. We don't want to do that. So I come up here when I'm doing that and I pick, I do the Jimmy supporting keywords. So these are ones that still have money, but I'm trying to find more pure diverse type stuff, right? So this just pulls up all your pure diverse. So these are also very highly relevant for that term, but now when I use a backlink, I'm not going in and saying fitness this and fitness that. I'm doing exercise workout, exercise training, which Google recognizes being very closely related to fitness. And so when I do my anchors, I don't necessarily have to worry about, oh crap, I overdid it on fitness.
Right.
I overdid my optimization for fitness on the page, and now I'm stuck on page 2 and I can't get on page 1.
Right.
So that's the whole reason I set it up like that from the get-go, because then I'm not worrying about, oh crap, what's my percentage for this keyword?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, if
hopefully
you think writing for percentages in the old content keyword density days was a pain in the butt. Try managing your percentages and your anchor keywords and your backlinking.
Yeah.
Like, really?
So a cool thing, right? So they have all this list of keywords for these co-occurrence. So the co-occurrence that we've been talking about, the common terms on all these pages across the internet. And this is a really cool filter that Russ and Sue have put in here, which is called your statistically improbable phrase, or your SIP. So we could pull these, right? So what is a SIP, you're probably wondering? So I'll try to explain. Statistically improbable phrase is the term that they use that's still in the co-occurrence realm, right? But it's not found on very many pages, and so they use it as an identifier to be either, you usually find them in papers that have been written, like research papers and stuff, places where there's been a lot of information or research done is where you're usually finding these SIPs. Wikipedia would be one of them. That's where, like, some of these, they contain that SIP keyword that basically weights the importance of that page. Because if everybody's out there putting the same co-occurrence keywords on there, how do you know, like, which one's better, right? Everybody can write an article, everybody can put in engagement, everybody can do that.
Yes,
and statistically improbable phrases is what they use to change the scale, to give the importance of the co-occurrence.
And while Jimmy's talking, as you know, I'm going to drop our link, Network Empire's link for statisticallyimprobablephrases.com, and you can read all about the definition and a wonderful video by either Sue or myself on statistically improbable SIPs. That's why we abbreviate SIPs in regards to TLKT, just because Jimmy won't go all the way into it on this. Sorry, Jimmy, for interrupting. There you go.
Oh, no, you're good. And so if you want your page to be more important, both on your money site and possibly your backlink sites, I suggest putting a SIP in with your pages that you're using for your backlinks and your money site, because that's going to put that same importance factor on your pages. So it's kind of like if you link out to an authority site, you're doing the same thing by putting a SIP on your page, because it's a it's a very uncommon term that's only found in like most of the research papers out there. So
Yeah.
it looks like an authoritative page.
Amazon was the first to really start using it in terms of you guys probably remember back in the day when Amazon had right on the product page. Does anybody remember that? Then they removed it. Okay, trivia pursuit. No, Jazz, we're not talking about a sip of wine. Sip as an SIP. Silly girl.
And you'll notice, like, you'll see a lot of brands that come in through here, right? Like, these are all these gyms and stuff. I don't pick the gyms, just so you guys know. Like, we're not out there to promote other people's things, but this would be a great one right there. I can easily put activity calorie calculator right there on my fitness, even if it's linking out to another authority site.
Indeed. Indeed.
So
I love statistically improbable phrases. That's why I put up a whole website on it. Because you can really do some interesting things with it. Some really interesting things.
There's more deeper things that we go into.
Yeah.
But that gives you guys like the overview. That's like the flyby.
Exactly. All right, you guys, what kind of questions? We have so many questions coming in. Now, I'm hunting, a couple of you have asked, I know a lot of you are thinking, okay, you guys keep showing us the last keyword tool, but how do I make a silo website out of that? It's probably one of the most common occurring things. The good news is we have some awesome new videos coming as soon as Sue gets tucked down in a new place, and Jimmy and Sue and I are gonna talk about, we're actually gonna create the videos. But for now, I'm gonna try to drudge up the current videos that we do have on it in the wiki area, and I'll drop them here as well. Very oldies, but very, very goodies on how to use TLKT, because TLKT, the last keyword tool, does not have the function that Kraken has, called the Kraken Blueprint, to automatically generate those silos and then import them into the plugin, whereas Domain Web Studio does have the auto export as well. So probably the most confusing question we get about our products is like, what exports as a blueprint into our plugins? Well, that's DWS and essentially the Kraken Blueprint. But you can also do some manual stuff here, and I'll drop that video. I think it was for you, Michael, on how to do that. Thanks, Jimmy.
Yeah, no problem. And this is a look at Kraken so this takes what we kind of showed you on the last keyword tool and kind of puts it on steroids, right? So this is where we start getting into integration and you get into real data mining. This also will tie in with the things that you're going to learn through Mike Clay's course, and how he's able to sell this without even doing the SEO up front. So you really, I mean, it's just pure genius, Genius.
Sage.
So, when you look at these, you can just kind of see like how these work and how they're going to lay out. This isn't a completed one right here, but it's the start of my silos and everything. So, and you get tons and tons of information out of these. It's instead of like doing some drills at a time, like here's your money keywords. Here's your total search market value right here. This shows you where your money is, right? Like, if I was going to pick one of these 5 silos, well, food facts sure does tie in well to nutrition, so that's going to be one of my silos, right? So you just add that sucker to it,
Oh, hey, you jumped over to Kraken. I didn't even notice that.
Oh yeah. I figure it's like we talk about crack sometimes. I don't know if we've ever kind of shown them.
I don't talk about crack. You might talk about crack.
So this kind of gives you. This is very handy when you need an overview in a market that you're not familiar with. So like what keywords they go after. Instead of going and doing individual drills like what you would do with the last keyword tool, you just use Kraken and just get the entire market in one fell swoop.
Right.
Right. So that's where you would go to Kraken in that sense. So. hopefully that gives you guys kind of an idea between the two tools and when you might use what. But then, you can export this and you can import it using the Silo plugins.
Yeah, and probably the biggest challenge we have, which is one of the things that Sue is dealing with in all of the rewrites that she's madly putting together, there's so much going on, is that you can import both the last keyword tool into DWS Silo Builder, and you can also import Kraken. So you have your choice of how you can, and you work with them both slightly differently. So that's one of the reasons that we provide training on these types of things, is that we really do. Yeah, Jazz didn't even know. Jazz, are you making fun of me? You actually knew that, didn't you? You seriously? My marketing's that bad? Like you didn't know that? Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Okay. Yes, both Kraken and the last keyword tool that's how you get the keyword data into DWS AnySilo Builder, okay, which is the software as a service we provide that allows you to actually put your own spin on the keywords and determine how much things cost, and even put your own conversion rates and the number of visitors. Really, that's a whole nother level up of kind of enterprise level if you want to start sculpting the data on your Silo site based on your expected return on investment. Both of those you can import either software. But you don't need to. You can also import those, export both DWS and Kraken into the Silo plugin, including the new and improved version that we're about ready to launch, very easily by a single file. So we have more than one way to get into your Silo blog, into your plugin. And I must say, you guys probably figured it out. Yeah, it does cause me some problems on the help desk because we've got more than one way to skin the cat, and it's frustrating. And so what I'm trying to do right now is, because everybody needs something a little bit different, and other people have really, really big sites, whereas other folks have really, really small sites, right? So we have to make sure that there's more than one way to get from more than one of our softwares directly into your Silo plugin. Okay, and if you have any questions on that ever, that's what we have the Skype group, the Director's Cut Network Empire Genetic Hybrid Skype room. Okay, you can contact me in there at ThemeZoom, one word. And there's always somebody there trying to help you guys out with that. And as we get our videos together and more perfect training, we'll be able to run you guys through all that stuff. You're welcome, Jazz.
Yeah. One other thing that I love about TLKT, and then we'll jump back to the questions. This is something that's cool for me. So like I can take what I know the site's converting at, so I can take the percentage, and I can take my the affiliate commission and everything, and you can put that into 30 days or what you'd make daily based on these numbers, and it's going to spit you out what you'd make on any particular keyword. So this is not for this specific search, but just an example, you can save and create your own custom filters to really start going through the data how you want. And this might determine, if I rank number in the top 3 for this one, then I'm going to be pulling in $2,000 a month for this keyword. Like, that's not realistic for this specific keyword, right? So my affiliate commission is different. This could be based on whatever program you signed up with, but it gives you kind of a money amount that you're like, okay, I rank for this, I make this in this month's time.
Yeah.
And you base it off your conversion, and it's great.
That's right. And if you're at a more agency level or you want the big guns, Kraken goes one step past that, which is not something that everybody needs, which is why we have 2 apps. It actually gives you the total value of the total search market value of the keywords. Just go over to the Kraken thing for a second, Jimmy. I just want to show them that because people are always amazed because my marketing is so bad. Go to Voma, click on something, nutrition. Yeah, actually, he has it right in the top screen, but in the upper right-hand corner, what Kraken does is it goes out to 50,000 pages, pulls back all the keywords with cost and click, and then determines, okay, if the keyword is nutrition, all the only valuable, what Sue calls interesting keywords in that gigantic pile of money, okay, the total search market value, if you were to rank on the top 5 positions for all keywords in the entire vertical stack market that we pull back from everything that Google has, is $79 million. Okay, that's total. That's paid and organic. The organic value of that entire market would be $71,000. Of course, that goes down a little bit. And the organic rank value maximum would be if you were in the, I'm sorry, Sue, are you here? Nah, she's doing some stuff. I've got a little bit different. The organic rank value max is a slightly different number than, Sue, can you remind me the difference between organic rank value max and organic market value on Kraken?
Yeah, the organic rank value This was back in the days where you could only rank for 2 positions.
Yes,
So that would be if you were ranked for position 1 and position 2.
correct. Okay.
The organic market value is the value of all the searches.
Thank you. Thank you.
And then the total search market value is all the searches and all the pay-per-click traffic.
Thank you. All right. Yeah, I had forgotten the organic market value. We created that at a time when you couldn't build a roadblock like Jimmy does with a lot of the terms, or he's ranked for all 9 terms.
Right?
He's done that to me before, and it really pissed me off. Okay.
So now basically organic market value and organic rank value are the same.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. So that's something
They created my own TSMV.
But I wanted you to, no, it is true. Yeah, we got to actually make one for you. But it is true, you guys, that in the whole Sal Reports first idea that we teach, I want you guys to know it is something we're exposing with Mike Clay's stuff. That's really how I got my start in SEO. In fact, the Kraken technology is really, when I came to Sue and talked about the problems I had doing all this, I had sold a report to bizfilings.com. It was my first gigantic SEO client. And we had to calculate all this stuff by hand. And I think to go through and parse all these keywords before Kelly and Sue got to it, this total theme just for nutrition, not including all the other themes under it, this would have taken me a good 2 or 3 days to calculate the total search market value. And it takes you about, I don't know, a few hours or less just on the drilling, a few clicks of a button. So when you show a client this, like I did BizFiling, or one of the larger clients, a huge legal firm in Chicago, actually one that you would all recognize as a household name I worked with as a client, as soon as I showed the owner of that, his name was Tom, he literally changed color. Like when we showed him these reports, this is why Mike Clay is doing so well with it. When you show them this data, the data alone helps you because they're looking at that bottom line. If you come to them with a project, or Jimmy's going to looking at a project for ranking for these terms, as soon as you show them the money, as Mike Clay will be showing you as well in that training, it's just perfectly obvious that what they need to do in relationship to all their competitors.
Yeah, and the other thing, that's one thing we should ask right now. Like, this data is so useful, especially when you're determining your siloing. So I'll ask a question here. So we got 6 keywords that this pulled back, right, for main silos. Which one are you going to spend your time and effort in? Just type in your box and say which one you would go after based off of these 6 that are on there.
We're just making sure you guys are awake. Thomas, got it? Yeah, I mean, not trying to insult your intelligence in any way, but we've got to make sure you're awake. Obviously, nutritional supplements, that's definitely a buy function. It's the buy function. Pay-per-click market value, Brian Young asked. Brian, that's only the paid, that's the value within the pay-per-click. That doesn't include our algorithm for natural value with it, just paid rankings. Okay. Meaning if you were to buy one ad on the sidebar, Brian. Okay, cool. And also, Brian, if you were to pay the maximum bid based on the competition in that market, that's a good question. And if you have more questions on that, see me in the Skype room. Jazz says that's a trick question. You're kind of sarcastic, aren't you, Jazz?
But yeah, I mean, you could totally tell. Like, say we're going into this nutrition market, we have no idea. We've found some important words. Like, we could see where the money's at at a glance. We haven't gone beyond this, right? So we haven't determined links, and we haven't determined other supporting pages and all this, but I can tell exactly where I need to put my time and effort for the big dollars. Mm-hmm. And likewise, I know where I can put my time and effort if I want to rank quickly for lower competition stuff.
And this is actually, and this is a great time, Jimmy, to mention that you guys, if you and gals, if you were to be totally crazy and decide that you wanted to just do this entire thing, like you wanted to swallow the nutrition market whole, that's why we call it that. That would be a monster site and really, really huge, but you definitely would want to move upward to Domain Web Studio, any silo builder for a project that large. You don't want to be hunting and pecking inside the silos, plugin and adding one thing at a time, trust me. At that point, you're going to want to scale. In fact, I don't even know, you could output it in Kraken here in this blueprint, but if I was doing a site that big, usually, and Mike Clay will speak to this too, usually your client's going to want to have a knowledge. You're going to want to sculpt your data with your average, how much does your product cost? What is your expected, how much profit do you make on your product? We provide all that in the enterprise level silo builder. Just want to make sure that that's probably, if you're going to go for all these, which sometimes Jimmy does, if you're going to go for all these instead of just one silo or just one niche here, that would be a monster project and you wouldn't need our silo builder software.
You mean there are
Yeah,
people who don't go for everything?
Sue,
Well,
how did I know you were going to
Jazz is asking, like, when... Jazz was asking, can you guys hear us still?
Yeah,
Yay or nay?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Jazz was asking, is like, when did that rule come out that you can only rank the two? So you'll see it. You will never see a site ranked more than 2 times on the front page. You usually see it on page 2 and beyond. And I don't remember, I think that was was a year and a half ago that they implemented that. So, because for a while there, you could just rank multiple pages on the same site. So, like one site could take up, 5 or 6 positions. But they changed that, so even though it's important, that it can only take up 2 max now.
This shows how long you have not been in SEO. So way back when we started Kraken, you could only rank for 2 positions. So 2006, 2007, 2008, somewhere around the time that you started, they loosed the floodgate, and you could rank for way too many positions. And now they've clamped it back down again, which just seems sane to me, but hey.
I know, I'm kind of new at SEO.
These kids today.
Right?
I remember back when I was in school, I used to walk uphill both ways.
2005, I used to go to SEO conferences barefoot through the snow.
Back when Rand Fiskin still had hair, and Bruce Clay didn't give away all the secrets at the conference. And I sat with Matt Cutts and brought him vodka, and he had literally told me the secret. That's true, you guys. Literally. Literally sat with Matt Cutts, and he said, all you got to do is, okay. So somebody said, Jazz says she's laughing so hard her stomach hurts. Okay, that's awesome. These kids today. All right, sorry, Jimmy.
All right, so we'll go into the questions now. So sorry about all the squirrels there, but sometimes I go off on tangents. You just have to bear with me.
I almost feel like that was a product pitch, even though I had no intention of pitching any products today. I'm so sorry. No, I'm not.
I wasn't even wanting to pitch product. I'm just, they want to know, if they want to know like what I use or how I use it, then there you go. There's there's an overview. So let's go with a couple of questions, and we'll pull some people live.
Oh yeah, let's do that. I think we should bring David Keys live just for constantly trying to distract me with these lewd comments.
I think that's a great idea. I like listening. I like hearing from Dave.
Yeah, he's good. But that's all right. Sue, where are we? I think Paula usually, this is the first time ever Paula says we can skip her question because it's a repeat. Because usually Paula's like, look, my 72 questions, you missed them this week.
Right?
And I'm like, oh, sorry.
I wonder what she does that she comes up with every question in the
She just sits around like every question that comes to her mind, she just like goes over to omg.software. She just drops it in.
It's excellent.
Paula, will you be our question engine? Who else we got there? Yeah, she's got good questions, but she said that one's a redundant question, so we don't need to go for it. Zenith says, Jimmy, your tangents are great. Don't let anybody stop you from doing them. Okay, somebody says, Russell, shut up. Okay, that's okay, no worries. Jared says, no, I made that one up, but it's fun. Ira is saying, I still have a site with 4 first-page rankings along with the manufacturer that has the top 4 spots.
On the same site and not site links?
Ira, you're going to have to prove that. Really? Wait, you're not talking about the listing like for the main domain when you look up the main domain, are you? You're talking actual URLs? That must be a semantic. Are you sure you're not talking about the semantic thing? The micro? Ira, if you could send us that privately, I'll get it over to Jimmy and see what to look at because I don't believe you. Sorry. I don't think you're calling me a liar, but I just think we might. I'm not calling you a liar, but I just think we might be talking about something different. And if I see that would be amazing, like it really would. Oh, by the way, Ira, you also
will be back engineering that.
But also, yeah, exactly. Also, Ira, you can't have your search pages be 100 long because then you will have more than one. Okay, so it's got to be the 10 page layout. Huh, okay. 4 different pages, lacrosse office furniture. All right. Okay, we'll have to look at that. Who's next,
All right.
Jimmy? Why don't you pick someone?
All right, so let's go. We'll read through some of these, and then we'll pull some people live. So we'll start with Mike Broadwell. He's like, I would prefer to go on. Oh, he wants to go into mic analysis.
Excellent. Let's find him.
Oh, well, Mike, are you on tonight?
Yo, Mike. Wake up, Mike. I've got to find you.
Let's see if he's on.
I don't see him. I remember one time I turned somebody on and they had screaming kids or like some Family Feud in the background. It was horrible. Let's see, Mike.
I don't think he's on. I don't
No,
see him in
he's
there.
not.
Okay. Well, we can answer it via this. It has to do with siloing and menus. Do I need to have any menus at all on my site? The reason is that I am putting together a site with a lot of content I'm selling as a package.
Wait a second. These are all old. We answered this last week. This is the wrong spreadsheet.
I don't know. This is one I was sent.
This is the wrong spreadsheet. Yeah, no.
Are you sure that we did these last week?
Yeah, I guarantee you we did. Paula's even confirmed.
Okay, so we don't have to worry about that.
No.
Sue, do we have another spreadsheet?
No, we don't. We did those top. It doesn't mean that we did all of them. Roll to the bottom a little bit. Go past.
Let's see what we got.
Otherwise, we'll just start pulling questions out of the. There's 6, 9.
It could be that I pulled a couple.
Yeah, it might only be 1 or 2, but both Paula and Mike. Mike asked the one with the menu, and then we found out. The reason I remember it is because it was a fairly important, marketing issue. He's trying to save some. It's a long, complicated thing which we answered last week. Hey, Paula.
Yeah, I think it was because Paula was saying that she had submitted questions, so I went back in and I pulled the last couple questions that were in the question queue.
Paula, is number 7, which is your question, is that new? Paula, that question, which is I know some, is that new? Or is that old? Okay, George is saying that 612 is new and beyond. George is really organized. George, you're hired. Okay.
Good catch there.
He knows exactly where we're at. He's like, what are these guys? While you're doing that, Ryan is saying, can you explain the difference between a DAS stack and a DAS cluster? Okay, we really covered that really well. Not last week, but the week before, Ryan. In fact, we covered it so well that I kept that one aside. And I need to make sure that everybody watches it. Ryan, remind me either in the domain authority stacking room to provide you with the details because it was good enough that we had to keep it aside. It took an hour, but we covered it really well.
So this one's from, and I would probably butcher this name, so I apologize.
Yasuki.
Yasuki. Hi guys, and hello Sue. I have a question for Jimmy. I am new to OMG Director's Cut, and I've watched DAS training videos and office hour replays almost every day, and I have known better and better. Thanks for your great information. Here's the question I would like to ask you about DAS. I understand that for low and medium competitions, we need to create 3 clusters, and each silo supporting page will have 3 backlinks from 3 clusters. But if I go for more competitive keywords, I need to create about 10 clusters, and do I need to link out 10 backlinks to a respective silo supporting page? If so, then do I also need to add 10 LSI keywords and a tag and a content as well? Okay, so let me answer that part first. So yes, the more clusters, I try to keep it 10 links and under because then you're not worrying about you're still keeping your trust pretty high, and you're also minimizing the risk of doing over-optimization, especially if you do the LSI keywords like we show you on the videos. So you would be okay there, and then you're asking, do you add the 10 LSI keywords with a tag and a content as well? So I usually won't do the tag. We don't really go over that. I do, but until you get really comfortable with your on-site optimization, I tell people to ignore tags up until that point. If they do tags, then make sure they're no indexed, period. So aside from that, when you go, I will definitely go and add those LSI keywords to the money page because you're sending backlinks into it, you're only going to add that LSI keyword once to your on-page content, right? Because that's going to give that page an opportunity to rank as well for that keyword. You only have to have it once on your page. So, and a lot of times with some of those other LSIs and supporting keywords, they're going to be a lot lower competition than the main word you're trying to rank for. So if you're going to go out and build links for it anyway, and you have the LSI, that's why I put that into the content as well, because it just makes sense. If you're going to take the time to build out everything else, then you should maximize your chances of the money page ranking for that keyword as well. So that's that part. So whereas if I linked out more backlinks to the same silo pages, then when each silo supporting page trust flow decreased. So let's see if I understand this. Whereas if I link out more backlinks to the same silo supporting pages, would each silo supporting page trust flow decrease? Don't know if I'm understanding that question correctly. I would say, if I had to take a guess, I don't really think you have to worry about it so much. You know, the times where you have to worry about killing your trust flow is when you're going after low quality links in mass quantities and you end up with little pebbles on one side of the scale. That's what's going to counter the trust that you're getting from it. Now, it doesn't mean that it's not okay to use some of those. You know, it's okay to do that. But remember, DAS is primarily used for increasing the trust to your site. So you don't want to go nuts on it, but it is okay to have some lower quality stuff in there as well. But, you know, overall, a brand new site, you're trying to maximize that trust. So I try to stay away from all that stuff as much as possible. So hopefully that answers that. I don't know if I understood that part of the question. So hopefully that helps.
Does.
This one is from, oh, good. Oh, he's on the, okay, great. This one's from Roman. I want to target plumbing, emergency plumbing, and drain cleaning in a few cities and their suburbs. What is the most preferred silo structure for this? So that's an interesting question. This is what I do. And I'm assuming you're trying to rank in the cities and not necessarily the global keywords. So this is how I set that up. And this works awesome. This works really good, actually. So let's just say we have plumber. Let's say draincleaner.com is our domain. Hopefully you guys can all see my screen okay. So what I like to go into next is my services. So plumbing could be a lot of different things. You know, I don't know exactly, you know, they might just unclog drains or they might do pipe repair or who knows. It kind of depends on. So the next part of my silo, I do my, you know, main, this is where I start including my main keywords, right? So draincleaner.com/emergency-plumbing, right? So that's going to be my top level silo. And then any city that I want to do from there is going to go next in my silo. And then I will tell you what to do for ranking this because it's very simple. So let's just say we do Phoenix. So that becomes a supporting, so the Phoenix page becomes a supporting page for the emergency plumbing, right? Emergency plumbing is one of the main keywords you want to rank for, but we don't want to overdo it on the descriptor. Descriptor is your, you know, to describe something. It's your price, it's your location, it's what descriptor means when you think about it. So let's say we're going to target Phoenix and Scottsdale, and we can target Mesa, right, or wherever else that your plumber or city that you're going to go after. And if nobody's familiar with Arizona, these are all cities in Arizona. So this is what you would do. So now when I go to build my links, I have a lot of different targets that I can do, right? So I got my top level silo, which is here, and I have 3 supporting ones. If these are the main ones that I want to rank for, then it's very easy not to have to overdo it. Like you can send a lot of links just to here, right? So you can go out and just go and get your citations built. And you can you're not going to go in and do like emergency plumbing Phoenix. Like if I do send links to this page, then I'll do something that's more like a broad match or a pure diverse. So I might hit it with emergency plumber or something along those lines. And of course I would be doing drills on the last keyword tool to figure out exactly what my pure diverse are. But as you do more of those broad terms, even though they're going to these local pages, like these actually will start to rank for the national terms. And this method has worked really well for me, but not only that, but because these are all in a silo, the link juice gets shared and you get that buoyant link juice going on. So now, even though I'm sending links to this, you're going to see all of these start coming up, right? So, and of course you can follow the DAS structure too, where you're diversifying all of these different kinds of links. And I will never usually go in and hit it with like emergency plumbing Phoenix, because it's okay. Phoenix is probably okay because that's a pretty big city, so I would expect that there's searches for that, right? But if you start going to some of the outer cities, there's no way I would use that as a keyword because I'm not so sure that people search for that specifically.
Yes,
They probably
everybody.
break out their phone and put in emergency plumbing.
Yes, we know he means plumbing with a B and not with an M. Thank you for all of your corrections. He might also be trying
Oh.
to. He might.
That was totally, I didn't even notice that. Okay, I missed my B.
That's okay. You can rank for plume. My peacock
Pluming.
plumes.
You can do the pluming.
No, everybody was like correcting me. I just finally had to say something. I'm like, all right, you guys, shut
I
up.
didn't even notice that. I'm just like typing stuff in.
That'd be tragic. That'd be tragic. All your pages like pluming.
I'll tell you what happened. There's been plenty of times that they're trying to rank some other site. They're trying to rank a new site that they built, and I accidentally build links to one of their older sites because I recognize it as their brand.
All right.
They're like, why aren't we getting movement on this? Our other one's moving really good. It's like, isn't this yours? No, that's not our site. Oh crap.
Damn it! I hate feeling. But you still have to pay me.
I do that kind of stuff all the time. Now you're gonna have two sites ranked.
Yeah, there you go. Damn it. I've had customers that they just didn't want that site.
So always pay attention to the details.
That's actually happened,
Oh,
Jimmy.
man. Yeah.
It's actually happened where I ranked
yeah,
somebody for a
yeah.
site they did not want ranked.
Oh man. Yeah, and I don't know what you do. Go negative SEO it.
Yeah, the index. I call you. Just kidding.
So, well, I'm just kidding, guys. I don't negative SEO stuff.
No, me
But,
neither.
so that's basically how you do it, and that keeps you away from over optimization for any. The danger area with that last patent was, if nobody's searching for it, like this goes for new keywords too, right? If you think about this, this can be a brand, this can be brand new keywords that are coming up, maybe start trending. If there's no search volume for that, how likely is it that you have tons of long tails or the actual main keyword linking to that site when there's no search volume for it? I mean, that starts looking fishy right off the bat. So there's ways around it, of course, but just be aware of that when you're starting to pick anchors that are inbound as well. So a lot of different little tricks that they're trying to pull on us. But this method works really good, and then over time I always see, even though you got these more broad match going to these location pages, you'll start seeing this actually rank for the keyword nationally. So it's kind
Hey,
of cool.
Jimmy, do
Yeah.
you want to see something crazy that Alex just sent us? He was trying to prove us
The
wrong.
Alex?
Alex, yeah, because the guy, not Alex Becker. I forgot his last name. He's on the call with us. Alex, what's your last name again? 'Cause you deserve a kudos for this. He's being a smart Alex. He's being a smart Alec. Crisis prevention training URL.com is ranked 9 times or 7 times on the index page for crisis prevention training.
That's pretty impressive.
So, like, we were wrong.
I don't know about that. We'd have to go back and look at that patent, but I dare you to find one that's competitive.
Okay, right. So you're saying like if it's something that's super competitive, it would be super hard to get multiple links.
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay, cool.
I have not seen that, and I saw the SERP shift where
I've never seen that many on one page though. Just kind of interesting.
yeah, you can force it, but it's not.
Hmm.
I don't know. At a certain point,
I don't think it was you.
I'd rather do different domains.
Yeah, but you know what I'm talking about, right? It's like on the same page, same domain.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
I've never seen that before. I've never seen over 5. Have you?
Oh yeah, like you used to be able to shove it down Google's throat before.
Right.
I mean, but then they started going like that change. I think happened a little bit in Maps too, but
Oh, okay.
I can't. I'd have to go back and do some testing on that one.
Yeah, I'll send it over to you. That's
But
why I mostly we should just look at it and like, because I literally have never seen that many on one page. I'm sure you have, but that's really interesting. Thanks, Alex. Smarty pants.
so hopefully that'll help you clear this up, Roman, for your questions on how you go about trying to rank that you're working on. But that works wonders because the client gets really ecstatic when they start seeing movement on the national keyword too. So, but it's very easy that way to rank on the local stuff. Let's see. So we'll go to Leo. Hey Jimmy, does it help the DAS stack when only I use the feeds from my DAS properties to backlink from FCS Network or Web 2.0 properties? Okay, so it depends on how you're doing the feeds, right? So when you do your feeds, it depends on how many that you put out in the feed. Like if you go out and send like 200 syndicated links to a brand new page, that's too many. You're going to start lowering that trust flow to that page. So usually when I start syndicating my feeds, I'm going to be tier 3, typically. And that usually eliminates losing too much trust on that tier 1 level. So that's usually when I start going out. Doesn't mean I won't syndicate to a controlled few, so you go after like high DA type, you can do like FeedBurner, and once upon a time you could do Yahoo pipes, but no, they just want to take everything away from us. But those are the types of feeds that you could go out and do a few syndication posts to try and push that power over back to your DAS stack. So you're not going crazy with it. Let's see. We'll do Mike. We'll do the 2 questions from Michael, and then we'll pull Dave on because I like hearing from other people.
Sure.
So Michael asks, when dealing with brand new domains, is there any place in our linking or in our link building campaigns for directory links? When analyzing competitions, they all seem to have some of these types of links. The directory links are from higher quality directory sources such as Joanne, Scafee, or Scafee, etc. The competition seems to use these directory links to deep link to inner pages of their website when allowed and use partial money anchor text such as Joe Smith, criminal lawyer. The competition seem to be using these directory links much like a PBN. Is there a place for these to be used to diversify your backlinks? What are the metrics that we should be considering? Is the DA of the domain as well as the trust flow, citation flow of the domain root itself? So yeah, you're going to look at all those things. So I quite often will go out and try to get some of those higher quality citation links because, when you research your competitors, they have, they've gone out and spent $250 on some crazy directory listing. And you probably know which one I'm talking about. But there's a lot of high quality ones that you have. Now, I think the problem that people have with directory links is if you've ever run them through, especially the really cheap directories, and you got to be careful because some of them you put on them get syndicated out. So you really want to take the time to identify and make sure that that's not, when you submit it to one, it doesn't end up on like 500 others. And if you go back and look at the IPs on some of those, they're going to be very low quality and they're going to be, all over the place. And even if you use a partial match, now you got that partial match going against your anchor text percentage. So I just be cautious when you use directories. There's definitely a time and place because, you know, if you check out the DA, trust flow and citation flow, you know it's not going to get syndicated out. Yeah, I'll go and throw that up as something's going to link to it. You know, not just going with DAS, but going and matching some of your competitor links is always good and tilting the scale in your favor because, you know, you start being in the same blend as the pages that are already ranking for it. And, you know, if they're doing internal links into the site, like when I start doing internal links, that's when I'm usually doing a geolocation. So if I can find a good quality directory site that is in a particular city and I can get that to an inner city page, like, you know, Emergency Plumbing Phoenix, then that's a great directory link to send internally to that page because you got all the local and geo relevance of that as well. So, you know, definitely just look at those things. So I would say it's okay, but you got to do your homework. To follow up my previous question about directory links for a diverse backlink profile, should a few profile links be used as well? I've noticed that you can easily get some default custom anchored text links from signature areas of profiles from high DA sources. These profiles are visible on public URL and therefore visible to Google but not beneficial. So profile links, I usually will not use keywords when I do profile links. Like, that's where when we start creating our fake authors, you know, for our pages.
You make fake offers?
Yeah, I shouldn't say fake author. Alias is more of a better term.
I was messing with you.
Your online alias.
Totally fake.
So I'll take him, and if it's relevant to my thing, I'll link back to my site, but I won't use a keyword. I usually will go in there and put the name of my alias. So, you know, it kind of ties in. It shows that he's integrating on some of these platforms, and you know that you're getting some of that juice back. So, stuff to consider. Now, let's get to some fun stuff. Let's pull some people on because.
I want to talk to David. David Keys, do you have any questions for us tonight? Because you're entertaining and amusing. Do you have anything you want to talk about? Okay, let me find your thing if I can figure out how to.
I unmuted him.
Oh, you
Hey
did?
there.
Hey, Dave.
You know, I just came back off of a phone call. I got a call in the middle of the webinar, and it was a client that I used to work with a couple of years ago, a former client. He's no longer former.
Okay.
Close. I was talking to him about some of, you know, what I've learned since 2 years back.
Score.
Kind of blew his mind.
Congrats, man.
Talked a lot about concepts behind Network Empire, where I'm scratching the surface, but that to the uninitiated is very deep. So, questions. You know, today I don't seem to have a lot of questions. I do have one. I keep looking at this interesting anomaly that on this same guy's site that we talked about last week, and one of his keywords is doing very, very well. I actually took a blog post on a PBN. It's a very clean one, so I just, you know, it's like, wow, this thing is kind of amazing. It's like I took 2 pills at the same time, so I don't know which one is really what worked, because I de-optimized his page. That seemed to have some immediate response. But beyond that, I also took a post where I took each of his, if you remember, it was flat, but he's got these sub-communities underneath the main community. And so I made a link just copying the text of his sub-communities, linking back to his site, each sub-community. So one link to each sub-community page is what it ended up being, and then the main page over that. Every one of those sub-communities combined with the term of the main community is either in position 1 or 2.
Yay!
Yeah, so like, is that something semantic? Like, I don't know if I should repeat that anywhere else. I guess the only way to find out if that's having a real effect is to do it on another community and see if including those sub-communities from an external signal along with the main one does the trick. Because they generally don't get any links, so one link was enough to like make a difference.
Interesting.
Yeah, and the cool thing about those is they'll pull from your internal link trees as well. Like usually, you know, on some other sites that you may know that I've done, I'll try to power up some of those other higher level pages just for the pure purpose. They're not the ones I'd be trying to rank, but for the purpose of sending that internal link juice down through into those other lower pages. But
Yeah.
yeah, it works very well.
I wonder if that isn't just helping identify what the silo is because something else kind of replicated that structure in that part of the website.
Oh yeah, because did you talk about location and stuff in the other links? Did you
No, just
use
the
the
name of the
descriptors?
community was enough. I
Yeah.
mean, they're kind of location based, but they're specific names, and then they're under this one community that's in a certain location, Palm Beach Gardens, kind of a thing. So it's the concept is very tiered and structured. The flatness, I think, is what Google's trying to cope with. Is the website so flat that
Yeah,
maybe it needs
exactly.
something to help it categorize what
Yeah.
actually is
Yeah.
category. Or
And you remember
silo.
last week we talked about virtual siloing?
Yes.
You're kind of getting a pseudo virtual silo effect with that.
Yeah, I think so.
So congratulations.
That wasn't
That's
much
great.
of a question. That was more like, is this right? Because I think it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
What?
that's absolutely right.
Yeah. What good are you, Dave? You have no questions.
Well,
But
I was busy making money. Yeah.
yeah, right on, man. Score. No, that's great. Actually, I still think your site was a great demo. If you guys weren't on last week's Director's Cut webinar, I recommend going back and watching it because it was Director's Cut, wasn't it? Or is it another webinar?
No, I was at DC.
Because you attend so many. Okay, it was DC. Yeah, go back. He actually shared the site that he was just talking about. And Jimmy gets into, we talk about the issues with the silo structure. And this is a classic case where Dave just really doesn't have control over the infrastructure. It's the one thing I know over here we really hate to be in that position where you can't really go and change anything. And, it really is, I think the big takeaway from that talk for everybody was that if you have a client come to you and they don't want you to build the site from the ground up and you don't want to add a bolt-on silo, it's very, very, very expensive to restructure a site. So any of you who weren't here, that was the big takeaway. And Dave just did a great job sharing with us an actual case study. And this is the same one that he's talking about. So thanks for that, Dave.
Yeah, no problem.
Okay, cool. So
Thanks for bringing me on.
we'll move on to somebody else since you're not very entertaining tonight. Just kidding.
Well, I could sing for you.
No, it's all right. Okay. All right, what else do we got? Okay, so Dave's
Let's
usually
pull
much
some
better.
people live.
Okay. Should I just do random people?
Who's brave enough to get on the
Let's
call?
just do
Yeah,
random
let's
people.
Just if you say, bring me live, if you're interested in
Who,
asking.
who wants to talk? We want to hear somebody who's willing to ask some questions. And Jimmy, you read it because I can't have both.
We got Andy.
Andy.
Andy's stepping up to the plate.
Is that Andy Heaps? Andy Heaps?
Yes.
Okay, I got him.
All right. Oops. Sorry, I think I just clicked it.
Yeah,
after
you just double mute. Andy Heaps. Yeah.
Yes.
How are you?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Yeah, very well.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Have you come live before?
Yes. No, I've never come live.
Where are you from?
I'm in Melbourne,
You sound very
in
serious.
Australia. Oh, really?
No, I'm just kidding, man. It's an Australian thing.
Hey, we have a few friends down there.
Yeah, Mike Hayden's over your way. You should go over and harass
Yeah.
Mike Hayden. Go over to his office and crash his office.
No, he's on the other side of the country.
Oh no, where are you? Oh, I'm sorry. He's in.
He's in
I'm
Perth.
in Melbourne.
Oh, I'm in the rock. Sorry, it's been a while since I've.
I'm on the east. He's on the west.
Of course, good. Then you have territories marked. Excellent. So what's the question? What do you have? What can we help you with?
Yeah, I was just checking a couple of things. I've got a lot of. I'm sort of battling with a web designer. I'm trying to sort of explain about the silo architecture and putting that into the sites.
Okay.
We trialed it on one of the websites that I'd already sort of built out. What my question was that I was discussing with him about the importance of siloing the site. We looked at that example of Amazon, which Sue used last week in the
Oh yes.
and explaining how Amazon was a great example of a siloed site.
Mhm.
And up the top of the Amazon page, you can still go to the top of any part of the website. And I wanted to sort of understand, is that sort of important to have disappear in the silo? So So you're still drilling into a silo. So right at the top, I'm just looking
In the
at what
shop
you're
by
just
department?
Yeah, where it says recommend for you in today's deals and things like that. So
So
you've got
let's
on the
see. Do you see it
sidebar.
on here?
Yeah, I can see it.
And you're looking at recommended for you. Are you talking about this
Yes.
one right here?
Yeah, so these are all not really part of the silo. I guess I was also looking at your Network Empire website, the new one. You've got silos going down the side, but not on the top. On the top, I can still jump to different sections.
You don't want to use those sites.
No, I know, but I was trying to find a reference. Yeah.
No, yeah, don't use them like quite literally. I mean that.
Yeah. Okay.
Do as we say, not as we do.
You mean doing? Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's what I was wondering.
It's a long story.
A membership site is always a little bit different.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it is interesting. Yeah, they do have some different topics up at the top, like, you know, things that they want to promote. And that'll change too. Like as you get seasons and some stuff up there, they'll add and detract stuff. But a lot of that is designed for the stickiness. So they've got the silo structure, but then if they introduce something, you know, for a long time they had, I guess they've moved it to today's deal. For a long time they had like this little gold treasure box that would wiggle over on the one side. And so I've watched them try different things with the top bar. And so the stuff that sticks, the recommended for you has been there for quite a while. Today's deal has gone from the treasure chest down to a simple text. And I think that those are just those are concepts that they find profitable enough that they want it on every page.
Yeah.
So like a silo structure is more like a guideline. It's not a hard and fast rule.
Okay.
And having, you know, like if you have a link to like your terms page on every single page, that's not going to like trash your site. It's just I try to keep those things to a minimum because what ends up happening is that they become sync wells for a lot of your link juice because every single page points to them. So, you know, first and foremost, you want to think visitor usability. And for me, visitor usability is always going to trump a silo structure because a silo structure is designed to rank, but all the ranking in the world doesn't do you any good if the people can't navigate your site and find what they're looking for. So there are people I know out there that take silo structures to such a degree that they actually remove the silo level of the silo menu from every single page. Once you're down in a silo, the only pages that are linked to are the other pages within that silo, and you don't get to see any of the other concepts on the website. And I look at that and I'm going, well, what happens if I land on an interior page? I don't know what other products you actually sell. So somewhere I want something like a shop by department option where, you know, the user can at least figure out what kind of products are on your site. So in that regard, the other thing that I would say is, I have found when I've done e-commerce sites, I find that sales and bundles sell really, really well. And so those kinds of things, if you've got a special going on, I would absolutely put it on every page that's appropriate. You know, like such as what you're talking about in the menu up there. If you run them regularly, then you do like something similar to what they've got today's deals, or you know, on sale, or however you want to phrase that, bundles, whatever. And so So yeah, the things that I've learned is visitor usability trumps everything, and then if you've got some kind of a sale, if you've got something that you want to push, everybody needs to know about it. So you want to figure out how you're going to communicate that. We've also done a sidebar, like what you can see over there on the right-hand side, where
Yeah.
they've got some related items.
Yeah.
We'll oftentimes put a little, essentially a banner over there for whatever bundle it is or whatever product it is that we have that's on sale, whether it's in that category or not. And it's only up there temporarily until either the next product goes on sale or we don't have a sale product at all. And that also works really well. So, and you can do all kinds of things to, you can no-follow those if you don't want to like bleed your thematic relevance. But 9 times out of 10, like one thing like that here and there, it doesn't seriously impact the rankings of your site. It's just when you start to do it all the time.
Yeah, if you guys are testing at all and you find out that the position of an offer increases revenue by 1 to 5%, you know, try not to argue.
Heck yeah.
Try not to argue over SEO like of 1 or 2 positions, or you know, I mean, you'll figure out the SEO, you'll bring it back around some other way. I mean, so the main thing that we have to constantly watch is that people don't get wrapped around the axle when, you know, finding an awesome way to actually create an upsell or side sell because they're all, you know, worried about SEO. The question is, you know, how damaging is it to SEO? Generally speaking, there'll always be a way. Visitor enhanced optimization, or VEO, and SEO can live in the same universe. Just weigh the pros and cons and determine what the losses really are. There have been times when we absolutely know that something that SewerEye does on a page just converts higher. You know, occasionally we have wars in house, like Jimmy will, you know, slap the crap out of me if I put a giant, you know, image at the top of the page, you know, because Google looks for that because it is so banner oriented. It is more promotion or based. So, but there's other ways to go around that. You can make the offer in a different way. You can use text, you can change the image, you can compress, you can do a video first. So in other words, just try to find a balance, you know, with the offer.
Because so many photographic sites are so image heavy, and
Yes.
that's what I'm sort of running into. They're so image heavy. And where do I put the text? Because people don't really want to read the text; they just want to look at the photos and.
Yes. There are some tricks to image optimization, which we talk about in Tech Foundation 1, which is a more advanced training. There are plugins that can help with that. I think that's still maybe. I hope Jimmy.
That was 2.
Okay, was it 2? Sorry, I can't even remember. They all blur together now. But within that one, there is some tricks there. I think you guys still give the thumbs up on that, Jimmy Sue? That plugin? Okay. I can't remember the name of it, but if I did, I would give it to y'all right here. Maybe we can try to come around to that. But there are other things that you can do. Image optimization is it's a whole area that I'm learning myself. But that is something that you can look into. One thing I do know is, like, you know, what our SEO department doesn't like is big images at the top of your pages, right under your title, you know, these types of things. So there are some deal breakers that the SEO department is just going to say, I don't care what your offer is. We have to find a different way to do the same thing. But most of the time you can work it out and get the juice back another way, wouldn't you say, Jimmy?
Yeah, I mean, you know, Panda in that sense kind of works on a checkmark basis. It's like you can let some things slide, but just know that you need to have your other stuff locked down.
Exactly.
And, you know, also the competition, the keyword.
Exactly.
I'll go take a look at what they're allowing other sites to get away with. And sometimes, you know, you just let it slip because, you know, if they're letting some of those other ones go through and they got that 90s style design going on.
What?
It's safe to say that, you know, you should be able to get away with some of the same stuff on a site that you might be working with. So
indeed. What would you say, Andy? What would you say your biggest struggle? Since I know you're on the SEO side of things, what's your biggest struggle? The images?
Yeah, I had to do things like I've redesigned the look of your SEO plugin, and I've created some code just with a designer just to make it aesthetically look good, because I didn't like the blue and I didn't like the size of it and those sort of things. And it's the images that have been the biggest thing, because I'm starting to work with a lot of food galleries and photographic sites. Yeah, that's been one of the struggles, is trying to integrate the two.
Yeah, can you
areas.
contact me privately on Skype so that I can see what you've done?
Yeah, thanks. That'd be great.
Yeah,
That'd be
I'm
great.
actually curious, especially if you're modifying our code.
Yeah, I will show you, because I
Yeah.
wanted to give you a call out and say, look, this is how I've sort of
No,
redesigned it.
no, this is, no, yeah, we definitely take, a lot of feedback from users and the rest. I mean, maybe you've done something cool. So I do want to see what you're struggling with and maybe show Sue once in a while we get together on these types of things.
Yeah, can I ask one quick question
Sure.
regarding, Sue, with the if I was putting a post underneath a page in your Silo plugin, but I don't want the post to actually appear on that page. I just want it to sit in the blog site category, like it's in its own sort of thing, so it constantly, because otherwise the menu starts to look too big and chunky. Is that okay to sort of have it?
Sure. You can put a limit on the number of items that show up in the menu too.
Yes.
Oh, okay.
In the widget area, Andy.
Yeah, right. Okay.
Right on the widget, you can prevent that.
Oh, that's what I.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah.
That's a common help desk
Right.
question as well, and
Yeah.
and it makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we do have the new release coming out very soon. I'm actually really, really excited about it, and so it'll be interesting to maybe talk to you about that as well. And we are going to have a dedicated Skype group for just the 3 plugins, because now that we have Simple, Silo, and Deep, I'd like to, have the room so we can discuss things like this. We have a lot of fans of that plugin, so I want to make sure as it evolves and gets more and more killer, that we have a place to chat about it. So that'll be great. Just contact me.
I've been doing the Traffic Hospital one, so I wanted to have a chat with you sometime about that, because I've got a new client.
Oh, excellent. How far are you through the www.traffichospital.com course?
I've watched the webinar 3 times.
Okay. How's that going for you? How's it going for you?
Well, I'm at a stage where I've got a site that a client, and I've been doing rather well with him.
Okay.
Definitely, he's had a lot of bad SEO before.
Right.
And I haven't got to the stage where I've decided exactly what to do with the disavowing, because we've built a new website.
Mm-hmm.
And on the question of what Jimmy sort of says, when this is a classic example of a site having very low trust flow.
Yes.
And so, yet he's still ranking, he's ranking in the top 10 for some words, and in the top between 10 and 20 for other ones.
Okay.
So I really didn't want to build a new domain, but I want to see what I can do with this, and what the best thing to do with it. So that's sort of where I'm at with the Traffic Hospital, is I'm sort of trying to work out the next stage of strategy with it.
Andy, you're in the You're in the Traffic Hospital. You're in the Traffic Hospital room, right? The Skype room.
No, I haven't got that link yet.
Okay, it's not a link. I have to put you there. I'm putting you there now.
Yeah, no, I haven't. I'm not in yet.
I'm doing it right now as we speak. Okay,
Appreciate
good.
it.
All right, well, we'll keep in touch with that. We really want to, we've gotten so much, again, the Traffic Hospital course is one of the most popular courses we've ever had, because people are actually making bank with it so quickly after running through it. I want to make sure you get through that as well. So stay in touch with me about that.
I'll make another, just a thing that really worked for me with the Traffic Hospital was that when I go to a new client, and I've got a very big travel company looking at coming on with us, and I'm going to be doing a scoping out, which will be between $2,000 and $3,000 just to scope the whole project. And the Traffic Hospital was great because it gives me a foundation to be able to critique what's on the site and the potential bad SEO they might have had, or things like that. And that's what I found a really good thing about the Traffic Hospital.
It really is interesting because it's not really about SEO recovery only. I mean, the fact is there's so much rich information about SEO prevention. I mean, ranking loss and all these things. It's one of those things that's so rich that, question for you, Andy, in terms of going through that course and learning, since it really is like a university level course, How do you go through that? Do you watch the webinars and then stop for a little bit and take notes, or how's the training working for you, just the webinar training format?
What I decided to do was that I basically set aside a Sunday and I watched one in the morning, which was 3 hours. Then I watched the one in the afternoon, and then I think I watched one the next day. And I didn't write any notes. I just listened to it all, and I just absorbed it. And so the second time I've gone through it, I've started writing notes because I just wanted to take the information in and just feel like it washed over the top of me. And
Gotcha.
some I understood, some I didn't. And also now I've been going back to points that I particularly like with Screaming Frog. So I've registered for Screaming Frog to pay for the premium, and now I'm using it according to what Jimmy showed in that about the percentages of online on-page percentages. So that's been really helpful. I did a trial for the link research tools. I know it's really expensive, so I'm waiting for the right time to do it because I guess I've taken on a lot in terms of different information. So I'm trying to sort of work out which tool to use is
and it sounds like
most useful. And
it sounds like also if you're not offering recovery, I mean, if you're doing 20,000 assessment up front, you're already selling reports and assessments up front, right? Selling reports first. So you've got that down.
Yeah.
Also, we have been getting quite a few requests for Jimmy to come back and do just focus on Screaming Frog. Like, I don't think he ever really totally focused like a whole webinar on it, but is that something that you also would be interested in, as more on the Screaming Frog usage of on-site?
Yeah. One question which came to my mind about the Screaming Frog that was just relevant to this Webby was that when you were talking about the percentage that you might need to be to move a keyword from page 2 to page 1, and how Screaming Frog can give you that assessment. I was thinking that it would also help to give you an assessment of the top 3 or 4 sites that are actually ranking for that page, and to assess then what's their on-page percentage for those keywords.
Yeah, so the percentage on the keywords, like usually I've used SEO Central to kind of break it down for, and I've done testing to back some of this up, so I know exactly, if you have no optimization on there, like how much percentage can you put in the content. So I've done a lot of testing to get that exact number, but to get you guys an overview, I guess I could show you one real quick. And this is just like a quick glance. This is like Screaming Frog. When I utilize Screaming Frog, I mean, that'll pull percentages and things, but one of the things I like to use that one for is just a quick snapshot of like, okay, they went after these keywords. Like I try to get it as a basis of like, okay, let's look at what they optimized for, and then I do it in conjunction with where did the anchors go. They send them all to the home page. Is it going to one of these inner pages that is a repeat kind of keyword? And that'll be when you're stuck on page 2. The kind of penalty you were talking about earlier, like you definitely have a penguin penalty. That's a classic penguin penalty that you're dealing with. So even though some of those keywords are there, you want to go and look. The ones that are suppressed on page 2 and 3 that you said were in the 20s and 30s, go look at what the root is of that in conjunction with what your anchors are to the page, and that's your problem anchor. So that'll help narrow down kind of like which pages that you might have linked to, or not you, but that other SEO company linked to. But if you go and you disavow, then that'll handle all those bad Mojo links and percentages. So I think you just doing the disavow and then getting the recrawl done, that will solve what you're looking at there.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and do that then. I just didn't want to make the wrong move, I guess. So that's why I sort of did. Yeah.
And let's see. So when you look at this, it's kind of interesting. Let's just go find a keyword somewhere. I don't know, like dog food or something. Let's go find an SEO site in here. I'm sure there's got to be at least one. Pet Food Direct just seems kind of, I don't know if that's a company or not. Looks more like a e-commerce type platform or something. And these ones are hard too because these are all the pictures, right? Like everybody goes nuts on these stupid pictures. So let's just go see what they have on the page. So, you know, typical e-commerce store breaking every rule in the book for page layout. But, you know, the biggest thing they could do on this is put like a little bit of content before they go into all the images, even if it's like a couple of sentences. Although I think I found a hack around that. I'm working on something right now. But let's see here. So we'll just go take that. We need something with some content. Let's just go find some content somewhere. So this is just a bad example. This won't pull back anything. Somebody's had to have written something on it. And we don't want news results. Blue Buffalo. This is a dog food project. Here's a good one. So I'll just go and I'll throw this in. 0740. And, you know, the tool I'm looking at here is just the keyword density thing. And this is what, if I just want like a quick overview of something besides the screaming frog, this is what I go into. And so you're looking at, so you have your one keyword density, right? So the time that one keyword, so we have dog food, right, for this keyword, but it usually is the top two. So we'll just go through these real quick. Then you're going to have your two keyword density, which is right here. And all of these so far are within range. They're doing good. And then you come down to here and you should have your three keyword density. And those are all in check as well. So the only one that they've done, like I really try to keep my one keyword density within the 2% range because I want to try and fill up that page with more LSI type keywords. Other things that describe dog food without saying dog food over and over. So they're right around the 2% range. You can see here for that one keyword. A lot of times you'll go in and you'll see, oh, they put in like 10% or 7% or whatever. They've repeated that keyword way too many times. They need to go in and get that keyword a couple of times, either that or add more content to the page to bring down that density. And then when we go down to this one's sitting about right as well. So this is going to be 0.8 to 1% on here. And they're just barely under that range. I probably would actually do one more instance of this. So it's kind of a balancing act because you know, you're going to have the one word part of the root, then you have the two words. So that's what I want that percentage to be, is 0.8 to 1%. And they're definitely in range there. And then down here, when we start getting into the three keywords, right, these are the ones that aren't really, where'd it go? I think I went too far down the page there. Maybe I didn't. Right here. So this is where you start getting your three combination ones. And this is really pretty good. I usually try to keep this at 0.22%. So, and the total of all this down here should not exceed 1%. So if you use dog food, like here, adult dog food, like if I have other places where there's dog food in here, like this total percentage of the 0.22 should not exceed 1% on this. So that's kind of how you deal with the three keyword combinations as well. So I don't know if that helps. What's that?
What about plurals?
Plurals, it just depends on it. So it depends on if you're trying to rank the singular or plural. So if we do plural, then that means the singular will be included in it. So I still try to keep within those percentages as much as possible. And I try not to let, like if you had like dog's food or something like that would add to these kinds of ones because it would still contain your dog food. So, you know, again, you don't want to exceed, the total on your 2 keywords wouldn't exceed 1.5%. So you have, on your 3 keyword combination, that's 1% total. So if you have a bunch of different long tails, that should not exceed 1%. If you come up here, this should not exceed 1.5%. Right here. And then up here, you want to stay within the 2% range. So typically, your main keywords will be around the 2% range because, you know, it's just the singular version of that keyword. So as long as that's within the 2%, that's kind of the scale I use.
That's great. Thank you.
No problem. So hopefully that helps some.
That was awesome.
Mm.
Okay, cool. Annie, did you get what you needed?
I did. Thanks
Okay.
very much, Russell. Appreciate it.
Very welcome.
Great
We'll go
work.
ahead and mute you out and,
Thanks.
whoops, sorry about cut you off there. Bye, Andy. Okay, so let's see. We've been on, how long have we been on? Somebody give me the time. Let's see. We don't want to go too long. Oh, I think we wanted to wrap up with the,
Yeah, we wanted to do a run through with Patrick's site.
yeah, do you want to wrap up with that?
Probably because we need to, he's been waiting patiently since last
Yeah,
week.
exactly. I've got a long drive back to Phoenix from Prescott here. I've been in Prescott, Arizona to see my daughters. So probably don't want to go on for thousands of hours, but I think we should wrap up with, you know, focusing on what you had done for Ryan. That would be great if you're able.
Yeah, do we want to pull him live while I go through this process?
Ryan, can you talk or?
On Patrick. This one's for Patrick.
Yeah, Patrick, sorry. Patrick, can you speak? Well, I know you can speak, but do you have a headset? Where are you? Can somebody tell me if he's saying yes? I've got a little tiny screen here, so I'm traveling.
Yes, he does have a headset.
Patrick's Malme, right?
Yes, that's correct.
Patrick, where is he? There he is. Okay, I'm unmuting. Hey, Patrick.
Good morning.
Where are you from again?
China.
China? No, you're not. Really? Are you calling from China?
No, there's morning somewhere. No, I'm out in Washington.
Okay. Good. Well, the reason I thought you were serious is because we actually do have
I know.
students from China. Now, I was like, oh, wow, okay, he's calling from Shanghai. All right, cool.
It's like, it wouldn't surprise me.
Well, no, we had one of our students. He might be here, actually. Are you here? Let's see. No, he's not, but he's trying to get us to use Chinese, to do Chinese keyword research in the last keyword tool. I'm just like, well, Google doesn't really do that either, so it might be really hard to talk Sue into that.
Let me see. I saved
You know
this.
what? And Jiminy, if you want to, you can go ahead and show this. Oh, yeah, you did. Okay, I was going to say go ahead and show this.
Oh,
Sorry
No.
about that.
whoops. Okay,
No,
then.
that's fine. But that number, if you redo, we just did this yesterday, and I'm in the yellow with 640 or something of because we've been going through and detoxing a bunch of links, or I mean disavowing
Okay.
a bunch of links.
Yeah, so I'll give you your full list that you need to detox here,
Oh,
but
perfect.
by the end, so you can replace it if you want. But I mean, you still want to go through your Tox 3s. Like Tox 3s on this are still, there's a lot of them that are still good sites, and I know that some PBNs end up in the Tox 3 as well, most commonly. So even though it says Tox 3, that's the one thing I would still go through and just double check. So
Okay.
let me see. I'm looking for. I ran a Screaming Frog on this. I'm just looking for my report here.
You know, I got a bunch of screaming frogs at night.
Well, let's just see. We'll just run I can just run a new one real quick. Because we can do the links first before we go into that.
Yeah, this guy, he was doing really good, and then about 6-8 months ago, there was like 8,600 spammy backlinks, and been fighting it ever since.
Yeah, that's we have a site. Well, I should say Mike Hayden has a site where he keeps getting negative SEO'd every single month. It's just been, it's always
Yeah.
a fun thing to go through over and over again.
Not really.
We've set it up now so when he does his negative SEO, it actually helps the site rank.
There you go.
We had to take a more aggressive approach. So let's see, where the heck I got Camtasia? What is all this nonsense? Bear with me a sec, I'm trying to pull up Screaming Frog here. I'm getting confused with Notepad++ and stuff. So, let's see, site. Just bear with me. I should have got this ready while we were chilling, but
Yeah, that's fine. I'm used to slow.
okay, we got this bad boy up now. I got all the pages that I need. So, I'm just going to start this bad boy up.
I'm going to go ahead and people are asking Jimmy. I'm going to give them the link to the site where Screaming Frog site.
Oh yeah, I think it's like $80 or something like that a year, but it's totally worth it. And we'll do this one. Googlebot regular. And we'll just start that crawl. So and this will be kind of interesting. I did look at it a little bit last week, but then got busy again. But I knew we'd go over it today anyway, so I was just trying to take an overview look of things.
Yeah, I think this was the second site that I ever built. So
on this one, on this site, so this is good. Like your page layout is good on here, right? I didn't see anything bad as far as like SEO wise going on there. I can't speak to engagement rank and stuff like that. That's Russell's area. But having a video right under your H1 and stuff is perfectly fine. They count that as content, so that's okay to do. For those that struggle with images in the header or closer to the top, sometimes it's cool to turn it into a video to get the same point across. Let's see, but I didn't see anything too crazy in here. Like I remember not seeing anything too nuts. So what was the main, can I ask you what the main keyword was that dropped on there?
Sure. Yeah, laser cutting machine.
Okay. So, and just because you have a little bit of history on this, that's why I'm asking you these questions, because sometimes when you come into a site, you're like, they say that they had rankings drop, and sometimes they...
Yeah, that's a term that I never, when I first started, it wasn't in the top 100. And now I think this morning or so, it's 29, I think.
Okay.
So it's moving, but it's just kind of not moving. I haven't got it really on page 2 at all yet.
So now that we know your keyword, like what I'm going to go through is I'm going to look for instances of that. If that's the main keyword that you saw specifically drop, like that's where I will try to put my focus. But it doesn't mean that that's necessarily the keyword. It's just something I'm going to focus on.
Sure.
But more than likely it is, because that's where you're saying the drop was. So scanning through the URLs, I can see you have one here. You got laser cutting. You got laser cutters, laser cutting, and like any images that you make public too, like if you name them, you have to take that in consideration because that's another piece of your site.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, I've seen sites not do so well just because they like keyword stuffed all the images.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like all the JPEGs are public and they have all the same keyword in them over and over again. So
Mm-hmm.
something to keep an eye out for.
Okay.
So, you know, I've seen it like 2 or 3 times laser cut. Let's see.
We should. I really love your image optimization course you taught.
Yeah, we got to do that this week.
I know.
I totally was messed up for my doctor's appointment last week. So
certification. We teach a lot in our certification level 2 course about the craziest file naming conventions. You can actually hack the JPEG image. Jimmy shows everybody how to do that. It's pretty in depth. Like it's a full-on Webby. But just keep them, be aware that there's stuff that you can do to your specific image file. And he does use LSI and thematically related keywords on that. So,
see, and your images aren't bad. So overall, you know, you have a few pages where you talk about laser cutting here and there. But so as I scrolled through, I was also looking at the title at the same time. So on your home page, you have laser cutting machine. Now this is probably due to your site title right here. So because I saw it very consistently.
Mm-hmm.
And what you want to do is just kind of de-optimize that. You know, sometimes I'll make that the brand if it's not the keyword. Like I would put integrated laser systems for the site title.
Okay.
Maybe even put the ink in there. But the reason being is, so as you look through this, it's tacking on that keyword onto each of your titles. So just look at the titles as I scroll through here. You can see laser cutting machine over and over again.
Oh,
like right here is a prime example of it. So, but you know, if you went through and de-optimized that, then that would fix a lot of the over-optimization going on for laser cutting machine.
And that's coming from the title.
Yeah, the site title. So
right.
if you go into WordPress, I think it's either under general or it's under reading, I think. One of those 2 tabs, and if you look in there, you'll see it'll say laser cutting machine and equipment. That's the line you need to change.
Okay.
And just change it to integrated laser system. So you're going to give it more of a branded, as opposed to the keyword you're trying to rank for. So as we go through it, and you could just see it over and over. The other thing that would concern me here is we have Olympus digital camera.
Right.
Like, that's just part of the gallery.
Oh shit, hang on. Yeah, that was my phone.
Nice.
Awesome.
Scared the bejesus out of me. Sorry for my language.
Everybody covered their ears. Hide the kids.
This is no longer PG.
So the other thing is, yeah, you have Olympus digital camera here, so you have your gallery pages being indexed here because they're coming back as 200. So that means these are up for grabs for Google to throw into their index, but it's a lot of repeat stuff.
Right.
So I would go into your gallery and just click those to be no index.
Oh, okay.
You're going to make them no index, but you're going to make them follow. So that'll clear this up so these don't count against you, but I would still go in and change the site title.
The site title.
So, and just looking through there's like, that's most of your, like here's one that just shows the site title, but there's nothing in front of it. So, you know, so they're probably looking at that because what they're seeing is like the same title being said over and over again, even though over in your URL it wasn't that bad, right? You had some variations of laser cutting and laser cutter and stuff like that. So that part is not bad. I would be more concerned with the titles, but now we'll just go to the meta description because this is the one that I found, you know, I've said this a lot, but I'll say it again. I don't use meta description. I won't put anything in for meta description unless the page is getting traffic. once that page is getting traffic and I know it's a converter, or you're pulling sales in off of it, then I optimize that to be more of a engagement type. It's not going to necessarily contain the keyword. It'll contain something to drive the visitor to click on your position in the SERPs.
Should I just delete that then? The meta description?
That's what I usually do. I know a lot of people will go in and put it in there, but the reason why I think that helps with not over-optimizing is because you end up with a lot of, it's like, Google, this is what this keyword's about. It's kind of like doing a tag or something. Right. Saying like, this is what's relevant for it, and you're trying to force it down Google's throat, where if you just take the keyword and put it somewhere in your content, it'll pick that keyword up that you're trying to put in the meta description anyway naturally because it's found on the page.
Okay.
So that way Google has a choice versus, trying to force them to see that page that way.
So once traffic comes in, what you're saying then is just put a call to statement.
Right, yeah, so you want something that's going to focus more on getting the user to click in on that URL at that point. Right. So, and you just orient that to whatever pain there is in the market that you're targeting for laser cutting machine.
Right.
So now that we're looking at that, so we've kind of taken a bird's eye view. The only other thing that I look for is, was there anything really crazy or bad going on in here? So I'm just looking at response codes over here in the right, and I always try to pay attention to the 400 errors. You get like the 404s and stuff like that. Too many of those can hurt a site. So I would go into your Google Webmaster Tools and just check and see what URLs are pulling in. Because right now it's saying you have 17 of them. It's not a lot, but if you don't have a lot of pages of content on the site, then that can really hurt you. So go in and figure out what pages those are, and either 301 them to a page that it should go to, or I would just do that. Just 301 it over to a page it should go to.
Okay.
That'll be the easiest thing to do. So then other than that, I don't see anything too crazy going on over here. Like most of your images and stuff will be cleaned up with the, setting the galleries to be no index follow.
And follow, right.
So that'll get the site all nice and pretty. So now from here, we got to look at your links, because that's, if you saw really big drops, then more than likely we're looking at penguin type scenarios. So let me see. Why can't I ever pull anything up here? There it is. It's not good when you have a lot of screens when you do a webinar. Okay, so we know so just for fun, I'll just go in and look at anchor text percentage. So I just go in and I filter it by count, and I just want to see like what we're looking at. So we got the URL, which is good. You have that in there. That's the prime, so you're not, at least it's not like 64% that says laser cutting machine as your anchors, because then you'd have a real problem there.
Right.
But this is still pretty low, but you still have 60 of your links with that anchor in it. But again, this is the repeat problem, and this will probably help.
When I go clean up the title?
Yeah, when you clean up the title, because right now you have 60 links going inbound to the site, but almost every single page on your site has laser cutting machine as the title in it.
Right.
So this is the part where it gets into a gray area where you can be getting dinged from Panda, but I still would think that this is, I think just by cleaning up the site, you'll probably see some positive movement just right off the bat.
Right.
So, but now this is the one I want to look at, and are there any others like textile laser cutters and fabric laser cutter? Those are lots of links on those ones as well. So everything else seems to be in check. It's pretty low percentage.
So it's not as bad as I thought.
Yeah, so these three are the ones that I would be concerned with. So now what I'm going to go do is go in and filter for those keywords, because that's what you saw the drop on. So the next step is I go and I look at my detox rules breakdown, and they have a list of all the rules that are going on with your site right there. And they have a lot of other rules, and you can read them on their blog if you want, but I've kind of narrowed it down after doing this for so long. So I can just skim through this. Like, mostly what I'm looking for are anything detected link network-wise, your toxic links, and suspicious 4, and sometimes suspicious 5. But those are like my main culprits. So when I scroll through here, Tox 3 is a high amount, so all I do is I just write this down on my notepad, just so I can quickly filter this in a minute. Suspicious 6, right here, possible link network, same register as other linking domains. You have 49 that have the same registrant. So that's an identified footprint, so we put suspicious 6 on the notepad. Tox 1 automatically goes into it. Anything Tox 2 also would automatically go into it. Tox 2 is like no good. It's like usually hack and porn and malware sites pointing to it. Suspicious 24. Gonna write that one down because again that's so it has the same website footprints as other linking domains. So that means there's clusters on those domains that they're the same links as 26 other domains pointing to the site. So this is where when I get into saying like Google's looking 3 tiers back, like this identifies over to the next tier.
Right.
So that's what we're looking at. So I definitely put that down because there's already, just from this tool, there's an identified footprint of the domain, the linking domains right there. So we'll go down suspicious 24, or no, sorry, 22. And domain name has same website footprints as other linking domains. So again, not as many, but it identified 11 more that have similar stuff going on. So,
Right.
And that's all I really have to filter for. Everything that says like this is from a weak domain or this is like, the only other one I pay attention to is if you have a high quantity of like link velocity ones, that's worrisome. Because they might ding you just on velocity alone. But
so hey Jimmy, for people who aren't well educated, link velocity just means the speed with which links are building up, or what would be your definition of that for the beginners?
Yeah, that would be the perfect definition for it. So it's like if we have like 3 sites linking, like we put up 3 PBNs and then we kick on GSA to those PBNs, like you're going to see a link velocity trend that's like 500% for all 3 domains or more, depending on how many links you're pumping out.
So Jimmy, if I wake up,
that's just not natural.
That's not natural. So if I wake up tomorrow morning and there's 200 million links to my site, that's probably not good.
No, it would not be a good thing.
Okay, just checking. Dang it, hang on. So let me turn off this GSA thing. Hang on. Click.
So then I click on show all columns just because I like to see all the data, but not that's important. I just do it because when I send reports to other people, they usually want all of that stuff. So so I skipped over what we clicked on. Like most people click on here and start here, whatever. Like screw that, just go straight to those rules.
By the way,
you can get all the rules in Traffic Hospital. For
by the way, oh, shameless commercial break. You already just did it. Guys, I do want
to get into that.
No, guys just watching this and gals, just please be advised that the stuff that you're seeing right now, yes, we do teach it, but I also want to make sure that you understand how much bank there is in the skill set here. Okay, that's what really blows my mind. It's not that different than sell reports first, but it's like cell recovery, right? Recovery, which can be taught and can be learned, is incredibly, what we're doing right here for Patrick's site, it's incredibly profitable. You can get clients anywhere between 3,000 and 25,000 plus upfront as you get better for this, depending upon the size or the condition of their sites. So again, that's why I get so excited about this. This is real work, a real profession that you can learn step by step, paint by number from Jimmy and Sue, how to do this stuff. Okay, soapbox put away.
Jimmy, what you're doing is you're just clicking the what do you call it? The rules that you put in the notepad.
Correct. Yeah, that's all I'm doing because
Because you've gone
after after years and years of doing this, I've just found like it's just a combination of Panda and Penguin. Those are the only links we care about. All the other ones where they say they're weak or unless, like I said, like the link velocity can be in concern. There's some other ones that are concerned, but that's a rare. Like those are usually rare instances. Typically, if you deal with your possible link networks and you handle suspicious 4, whoops, there's suspicious 4. Suspicious 4 are ones that have been hit by Panda themselves. So
Right.
again, you have a group of sites that got hit by Panda that then link to your site. Your site's a bad neighborhood as well.
Right.
And
Damn it.
that's a percentage thing.
Yeah, I used to live in Compton.
What's that?
I used to live in Compton
Oh.
in LA. That's where all the riots were. Just a joke.
So what I didn't really realize that there was so much. Is your industry, the laser cutting, is that like competitive? Must be high dollar stuff.
Actually, I designed and have a patent on the very first laser
I see
for
that.
cutting tackle twill out.
Right.
And yeah, it really is.
That's
And
crazy. I would
the
never
guys-
expect that.
Yeah, the guys that are, I think, kind of either negative SEO are people that I know. I mean, companies that I know, and I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah, you're all like Dr. Evil, you know, laser. So how much does one of these things cost? Like how much what's the average price of one of these suckers?
About 280 grand.
Well, no wonder. It's like
Yeah.
big back end up. Of course it's highly competitive.
Yeah. I mean, they start, you can get little ones for 20, 30 grand.
Right.
We sold anywhere from 40 grand to just under 300 grand.
Yeah, so when you're in Domain Web Studio and you put your conversion, cost per conversion, a profit per conversion, you're going to put like 150 grand.
Yeah.
So you don't need tons of traffic to do well with a product like that.
No.
Crazy.
No, except for a lot of guys now are building these Chinese cheapy little things and because I did all custom stuff.
Gotcha.
And this client is a really good friend of mine who actually licensed the patent from me when we first started back,
Okay.
I don't know, in 80 or 92 or something like that.
Gotcha. Okay. Very interesting. Well, that price of that product was what I've been thinking this whole time. I just wanted Jimmy to get through the stuff because I'm always looking at the conversion, the cost, profit per conversion.
Right.
Because remember, one of the things we use Domain Web Studio for is on the business decision screen, you can determine how valuable your SEO actually is. In other words,
Right.
And the higher your product profitability, the more interesting it gets in some ways.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, no, he's been real good to me, and we have a good relationship, but it's just stuck there. And then we're getting it on another term is a laser engraving machine or engraving equipment. And
Okay,
and I
he sells
guess
that too. Okay.
But we haven't even built that page yet.
Okay, gotcha. All right. So what do you think, Jimmy? You got more stuff you got to go over still? Where are we on this?
No, yeah, we're getting there. So now what we got is so all I did was disavow on the domain level for all those because if it's a bad link, like I just don't want it.
Right.
I don't care if it like that's the thing is like when you do the disavow and you do get them recrawled and everything, it bounces back to where it was before. So it's not like you're deleting these links. You're just it gives it the opportunity to go back to where it was
Right.
without having to go out and do webmaster outreach and all that nonsense that people talk about. So when you come into here, so now I'm just going to get your disavow file. So I'm just going to download that. Yes, I understand, blah, blah, blah. And I just download it and close that. So now what I'm looking for is I'm going to get a CSV of all these ones I downloaded too. And two reasons for that is it gives us the list that we need to get recrawled.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at this, so now I have So you don't get column A, you need to get column B, right? So column B, these are all the ones you have to get recrawled. So when we did the disavow, it only took the domain, right? So we like disavowed this. But what we have to get recrawled is where the link originally came from, which are these.
Right.
So those are the ones after you do the disavow. We have column B here that we go put into an indexing service that gets these all recrawled.
Okay.
So now from here, we know what your bad keywords were. So if you want to go one step further and see like where some of this stuff is going, you can go and take a look at different stuff. Like you can filter. I won't go into filtering on the Excel because truthfully I'm kind of weak on the Excel spreadsheet, but but we can find it on here, anchor text. So we can do those 3 keywords that we had, the ones that were you have a lot of. So you do laser cutting machine.
Yeah, laser cutting machine.
Somebody unmentionable, I'm not going to say who you are because you know who you are, is saying, I'm doing this with the Fiverr gig. Should I buy the package instead? He's talking about link research tools. I'm gonna.
I think that's what got me in trouble.
I'm gonna smack you. You got to be joking, right? Are you messing with me? Or are you being serious? Oh
So
no.
Here, oh, go ahead.
I'm just saying. Everybody always asks us if we have special price points for link research tools. We don't, and we love Kemper and we love all those guys, but we don't do or any of those affiliate links. You just got to go and deal with all that stuff yourself if you decide you want to go in this direction. Just keep in mind, guys, when you're starting a business, make sure that you have a business model. When tools get expensive, you need to either sell reports first or sell the product or go to school so that you know how to do it. Do not try to go sell this kind of stuff out of the gates without Jimmy Kelly specifically over the shoulder training you how to do this, please. I'm begging you. I'm not trying to sell you something. I'm saying literally. You just got to have it. You see how cool this is, and you can learn how to do it, but you need to get trained. It's like any trade school.
Right.
Cool.
That is true.
Yeah.
So, and you can see here, like we filtered for the one type of anchor that you had, and this is just on our list. We could reset the filter to see how many there are, and I might go in and disavow others that weren't in the rules list. But I know that these are the worst ones. But look at how many exact match anchors coming in that are do follow, that are going into. These are all hitting your home page right here. So, but this can help identify stuff. So when I talk about, okay, like that other, I don't remember who, with Andy's stuff, this is what I'm talking about. Like you can identify the main or the root keyword. So like his were suppressed on page 2 and 3. Let's say he was doing laser cutting. Maybe he's still ranking on page 2 or 3 for best laser cutting machine, for instance. But laser cutting machine is like gone. And then you might have some that don't contain laser cutting at all in there that are still up on page 1. Like that is definite penguin right off the bat, and it has to deal 100% with your anchors. So by knowing that, I know that this helps me identify like the wrong pages and the links that were used to go to it, because I know that if I use too many of these, then that's what I'm looking at in the SERPs. And so it can help you identify and detox, not detox, but disavow the links that are causing the penalty in the first place. So, and these are all ones that we've disavowed that you can see. Right. But if I wanted to go and be more thorough, I would reset all the filters down here, and I might even go further and disavow even more of these that are questionable, that didn't meet some of these toxic filters.
Right.
But I usually don't have to go that far. That's like if I do this first round and it doesn't happen, then I start digging down deeper into those links.
Okay.
So, and you want to just go hit your other 3 main anchors. You can filter on that spreadsheet that I'll send you, and you can go in and hit these 3 anchors that were up here. Where'd they go? If we just go to by count.
No, this is great because it's understanding the concepts more than having somebody tell you, just
Yeah,
how to
this is
do
not.
it. So,
Yeah, this is not theoretical, and you're going to be kind of a badass after walking through this, to be honest.
yeah, well, it's good. I'm looking forward to getting the spec sheet and actually, going through it
Yeah,
and
no,
actually doing it.
yeah, no, this is great, and also want to say Elijah actually just added, "Wow, I'm having some more pennies dropping." Jimmy, just kudos for you. Every time we go through this and we walk people through them, they really, more people get it.
Yeah.
So this is great.
Well, that's the thing, I've never been one to want somebody to give me an answer. I'd just rather, say, well, here's a hammer, here's a nail, and now go stick it in that piece of wood,
Sure, no, it's
instead
good.
of
I mean,
doing it.
sometimes, again, that's why we do have our training, and we have found it's good to try to, we've always argued in-house a little bit is, do we actually, wow, people are going hashtag mind blown. James Nana is saying, wow, guys. Dave saying, he says, I was way undercharged for the detox. Okay. So there's a lot of people just saying really cool things. Yeah. So what we kind of decided to do is throw these things in live here and there, just so people get a real sense. So everybody watching, because we have moved into a lot of people in this room, you can understand why we wouldn't want to spend the whole time just doing over the shoulder stuff because it can
Right.
get a little bit overwhelming, but at the same time, we get enough of a, peek into Jimmy's brain or my brain or Sue's brain, depending upon what it is we're doing, that you can kind of get a sense of how we operate. And Jazz is saying, yeah, this is where we learn. She really likes it. Andy is saying training is still great and it's perpetual training. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, Andy joined our traffic hospital. You guys, we designed at Network Empire, we designed a model actually. I created a new marketing type thing, and it's the perpetual mastermind training certification courses. And the way we invented it is that was feedback from everybody, from you guys. And it was, okay, my biggest thing is one product launch after another. Not a problem with that, by the way, if it's real good and there's a lot of different value. What we found is that nobody out there was really just saying, okay, pay once and you're always a member of the advanced training. So with all 5 levels, most of which Jimmy is involved in and Sue is involved in all of them, once you take our certification training, you're always a member, you never pay again. And the benefit we get is we get to learn from you guys about what's working in our teaching. Also, the benefit you guys get is whenever things change down the pike, we can, remove old widget and insert new widget that's, working now. Also, of course, since we're a software company, you get constantly exposed to our software. And so that really does allow us to create this perpetual mastermind group that normally people would be charging literally tens of thousands of dollars for. So that's how that idea came up. That's something that Jimmy and I devised and Sue. And so that's really, really cool. That being said, okay, where are we in this report? Because I'm going to want to start to wrap this up. How much more we got, Jimmy, on this?
I think that's it. So there's 3 bullet points on the money site that I think he knows what to do on that. And then I just need to, if you put your email address into the chat box real quick, I'll shoot these over to your email.
Yeah. Also, Patrick, just
reports.
just as a favor to Jimmy, give Jimmy a big, like when you go over to the Facebook page tonight, just give, and everybody else too, give Jimmy a huge heads up on, because he really, like this is way past, just say thanks, Jimmy, totally looked at my site. I mean, he just gave you a several $1,000 consultation there.
I know, that's going to cost me a lot of pork butt.
You're going to have, well, we have, I can't tell you who it is, but somebody's sending Jimmy salmon because I just gave him the index, address.
That's me.
Oh no! I'm sorry, Patrick. I got too many guys.
Yeah, well, the shipping will almost cover that $7,000.
You think so? Well, Jimmy, you got some salmon out of this eval.
You have to fire up the big green egg.
I'm going to make a trip to Texas and sit down and barbecue for about a week.
Yeah, Jimmy's got a pretty interesting barbecue. It's not like one you normally. You got the egg, yeah. Anyway, whatever. I'm messing with you, Jimmy.
I love that. That's the thing I love doing.
Yeah, Russell, your package is going up there too.
Oh, you have to do that. I gave you Sue's address.
Oh, I know.
All right, but you're a real sweetheart, and really, we do appreciate also. We also do appreciate the things that you are exposing here and sharing this with everybody, because that's really, really
This is great.
above and
I mean,
beyond.
I get to learn something.
Zenith is like, the big green egg rocks. She has one too, Jimmy, apparently.
Yeah, that is just my favorite grill.
That's your toy.
It's
huh?
been like it can smoke, it can grill, it can be an oven.
Excellent.
It's
Wait,
like
I'll teach you the detoxing of or the hospital of smoking.
yeah, that's what I need. I thought about posting a picture of like when I get that thing fired up because
You
it's just
should.
so cool.
No,
when
actually-
all that smoke comes out.
Actually, Jimmy, when Patrick's salmon comes, you should
Oh,
do that. And
Yeah,
then
I should take a video of
Yeah,
grilling. Yeah,
that'll
that's
be a
cool.
Facebook, like put it in the egg, and we'll upload it and say hashtag thanks Patrick. No, it's great.
Well, I'll tell you something really quick. Whatever you do, do not overcook this salmon.
Yeah, because it's like
Oh, yeah.
super gourmet. You wouldn't want to
Oh,
overdo that.
if you overcook it, I'll probably roll in my grave.
Okay. Yeah, that quality stuff slides off the bone. I know that's got to be like you don't want to go
Yeah,
over.
this salmon, and I'll put a little instructions on what to look for and stuff when it's done.
Have to have a traffic barbecue hospital.
That's right. And for all of you absolute vegans on the call, sorry. Let's see here.
It is cows eat grass.
All right, you guys. Dave Keith's saying, don't over optimize your salmon. Jazz is saying, love salmon. Joanne McLean had a great time. Keith Freeborn is asking what Facebook page. It should be actually in the OMG community group. Okay, this is Director's Cut and Project B, Project Breakthrough. Okay, we have Andy is saying, this year I'm going to go to the full Network Empire live event. Thanks, Andy. Actually, I think that you would be a perfect fit for that. You really are methodical, and the questions you ask are very in-depth. So you definitely have that kind of mind. You know, it's not for everybody, but I really think that you'd be a good fit for that. Peter Coyle is saying, I get my veggies on second tier. On the second tier. That is cool. Peter Coyle. Peter, you're always making these remarks. You're pretty funny, dude.
The sauce and the rub are tier 1.
Well, I won't even go about rubbing butt.
All right, you guys, this is very politically incorrect. Just an FYI.
Of course.
Jazz lives on a farm, so I can't read what she's saying. That was she. So Alex is saying, thanks, Rusu and Jimmy. You guys are all awesome. So if you guys don't mind going to the OMG, because we have a competition going on with Cotton Grandma, not really, we're just kidding. Not really, we are really serious, but we're kidding. Go over to the Facebook page and say you guys had an awesome time. Do some hashtags. Do some really weird stuff like with Faraday and Bucky Fuller or whatever the hell you want. And, just put a little note in there about what it is that you learned, okay? Yeah, big green eggs, big green egg ball. You're funny. You guys are really awesome. And Jimmy and Sue have both been working their butts off this week. Sue has been bearing the brunt of most of it. Put a hashtag in there for housewarming party, hashtag housewarming party for Sue Bell, because it has been an intense move for her to move into the Texas area. So, send out some prayers, some love for her. She's been working her patooey off. And as a CEO of multiple companies, the CEOs always want to get the blame. So you know how that works. And she's a real badass. Yeah, hashtag for Sue Bell. Whips and prayers, Jazz. Hashtag whips and prayers. Wow, talk about a contradiction. That just made my brain fart. I don't know how, Jazz.
You better pray I haven't unpacked my whips yet. That's what she means.
Oh, God. Jimmy, she hasn't even, never mind. Okay, Andy Heap. I'll send some organic cerise for the party. Andy, you are awesome. But we're going to try to get Andy over to the U.S. because I think he's hanging out somewhere over across the pond. I'm not sure. Andy, I can't remember where you live. Where do you live? It's going to be an intense, like you thought this year's event was intense. Yeah, we have we'll keep everybody apprised of that. Also want to especially thank, oh, that's right, Melbourne, yeah. Melbourne, okay. Especially
Patrick, sorry,
Yeah.
real quick. Can you drop your email into the chat real quick?
Oh, I thought I did.
You did, but you got buried in a sea of hashtag whips and prayers. Whips and prayers, you got buried, buddy. And also, you could also hit me up on,
Way to get married.
and Patrick, you can always Skype me or that one if for some reason.
And I got, and I don't know if you told Sue, but she's got some salmon and I'm going to throw in some pork too.
Yeah, I did not get a chance.
You're sweet.
Yeah, I handed out everybody's addresses, Sue. And
Well,
so,
I figured I'd just send it to Jimmy.
yeah, because she's yeah, exactly. So he can get it to her at some point. You know,
Yeah. No,
so
it's
that's
going to
good.
go out tomorrow.
Okay.
It,
Well, we'll let it
you know.
slide this time, man. This late. Because
Well, when
as
you,
far as
when you eat it, whatever you do not overcook it. Eat it
no,
as sushi.
dude,
If
no
you,
one's gonna overcook your salmon.
I hope not.
Like
I'm
we
pretty.
know what kind of salmon it is. Okay, so here's one thing I wanted to say. I want to give special thanks and a huge shout out for Mike Long, Greg Morrison, Dave Mills, who without their amazing infrastructure, we wouldn't have created this amazing community away from our community, which is the Director's Cut and Project Breakthrough.
Exactly.
They have a lot of very, very cool things coming. And Mike Long and Dave Mills have been friends of mine for many, many years. And it's really incredible how many great people we've been able to meet and communicate with that relationship. And so I want to thank each and every one of you. With that being said, I think we're going to go ahead and wrap up because I need to drive down the hill from Prescott, Arizona to Scottsdale. And thank you so much. I can see everybody adding to the group in there. Absolutely, Thomas, City on a Hill, you bet. Absolutely, because we do get lots of friends and really amazing things happen with everybody coming together as one shared mind. We're crazy, new, and innovative things. And I got to tell you, I really do believe an aspect of this that we definitely make a huge indent in how we affect people's lives. Okay, and I'm talking about just what people are learning now. Sure, it transforms individual lives and gives them the tools that they need, like the things that you saw tonight. What gets me really excited about what Jimmy and Sue teach in Traffic Hospital is that I personally know, like for real, like in my world, I have witnessed what the whole biz op market and the whole business opportunity market is hoping will actually happen, but seldom does. I've actually watched fledgling people come out of the Director's Cut and the Project Breakthrough community, move into the traffichospital.com and take the actual full training. Not that what they got from OMG was any less powerful, but if they wanted to go to the next level of super intense, and it's not for everybody, but super intense, like you saw what Jimmy did today, and go to that next level, I have seen them literally go, oh my God, Russell, I made $5,000 today on a contract. All I did is follow the link, like the suspicious link format, disavow. I went through video number 4. Now, granted, there are almost 20 hours of training in the Traffic Hospital course, but it's been one of the main courses in terms of recovery and prevention that, you mean, in other words, bad stuff, bad news prevention, that have actually changed people's lives, and they can pass that on. When you combine that with sellreportsfirst.com, which we've already launched for our mid-level members at Network Empire, you've got all the tools you need to, guys, you don't have to like do SEO and wait for results to make money. You don't have to do that. It's a myth. You can actually go and provide the reporting and the oversight and the insight and talk like an expert and use us, the Network Empire team and the OMG and the community to back you up, to have your back. And if you have any questions, if you have any things that you need to know about, if you feel like you don't quite have all the answers that you need, then you've got a team or a community of people there so that you can walk in with confidence and easily close a $2,000 to $15,000 in one case report and or SEO client. So that being said, I'd like to close. I want to thank each and every one of you. You are in our hearts and our prayers as well, and we look forward to seeing you on the inside of all of our community courses and or inside the Network Empire members area. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to each and every one of you at a later time. Thanks.